is on 101 ESPN, and he struggled with them. So let's hear how somebody who is not a sports fan would do with this.
All right. Mario Lemieux.
Good.
I think we're going to count that, Doug.
Yep.
Haryomya Yager.
Wow, that was
First
better
name,
than...
I can't give you the first name.
But the last name pronunciation was better than...
Right on.
Yager? Nice.
Yeah.
Marc Messier.
Very
nice.
Good. Oh, you know French.
Foyer Messier. See, you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Steve Zerman.
Ah, for heaven's sakes! This guy was a star. This guy knocked us out of the playoffs one year.
What is it? The Y is the loud?
Steve Eiserman.
It's allowed. It's not silent. The Y is not silent.
That got Jackson. That's what really turned the 101 people against him yesterday.
He played against the Blues for 20 years.
He did?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I should know him.
Oh, man.
Joe Sakic.
Sakic!
Jonathan Toews.
Taves! Jonathan Taves. He plays for the Blackhawks. He's your arch rival. These are big names in this town.
Suck on this, Doug.
For heaven's sakes.
Clip that
You've
off.
been suspended.
Clip that off.
Keith Kachuk.
Good.
Walter, you know Walter.
Jacques Planta.
Not Planta. Plant.
Oh, Plant.
Jacques, I thought you knew French. Jacques Plant, first one to wear the mask. He played here for the original Blues.
Oh, my gosh.
And you say Jacques Planta?
I do.
I don't even know you anymore.
Learn wasn't born when he was legal up
He's
here.
still a legendary figure
He
between the
is?
pipes.
Is he bronzed outside the Enterprise Center?
No.
Oh, well, then
not
he's
that
not too
legendary.
famous.
Not that legendary.
Martin Brodeur.
Oh, good.
Doug, we're going to give that. We're going to count that one.
okay.
Your French really is something else.
Thank you. I'm a French girl. Draw me like one of your French girls.
Paint me
Doug.
like one of your French girls. Nice.
Brian Suter.
Sutter.
That's not going to go well with Doug.
You know what?
It's not going to go well
His
with your
name is in the rafters at the Enterprise Center.
I don't go to the
He's one of those
games.
Sutter brothers. Sudsy.
I thought it was pretty good.
Thank you.
Iggy's got your back. You know you can count on that.
I know. I at least got one person.
Are you inviting me into your show at some point?
Let's get back
What?
to Iggy if we could.
Where did that come from?
Well, I had to get in at some point.
Hey, I mean, I talk for 60 seconds at a time, so can you get a thought out within 20 seconds?
Oh, without a doubt. And I live 3 minutes away, so it's no big deal.
Oh, well.
Oh, so you'll come in.
You could probably be there every
I'll
day
definitely
if you
come
don't
in.
mind.
You want to fill in for me for a week? I'm going to be off. I'm going to take a little
Well, that's not up
week
to me.
off.
That would be up to Marty.
Oh, let's talk to Marty after the show.
Iggy DJ an afternoon drive
I've
on
already said
KC. Wow.
I've already said that I would, because I know you man voice tracks it, so even if it goes on vacation, he can do his KC Classic show. But I said it would be an honor to one day fill in and do KC Classic shows.
You need to tell Marty.
Yeah, I'm telling the wrong people because I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, don't tell him anything. He's just going to nod and be like, okay.
I don't know if I want to do your show. I do a show
What?
with you.
No, do my show.
Well,
so nobody else has to do
We'll
it.
talk to Marty.
He only wants to be there because you're there. He doesn't really want to do this.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there.
Following this.
Oh, I'm not following.
I would have to have a board up because I'm.
You don't know how to run a... Who in here knows how to run a board?
Our board operator.
Plowhawk.
Jackson does too.
Yeah.
Riz runs his own board.
I know. And
How about that?
if I owned a show, like a morning show with multiple people, I would probably have to be behind the board too.
You would want that? See, I don't feel like, with all that we have going on with live reads and texts and on YouTube, I don't think I would do nearly the good job that the Plowhawk does with our drops. I don't know. But when I heard that Riz did his own, plus he gets here at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Doug Vaughn here, along with the home loan expert, Ryan Kelly, who's always doing things faster than the next guy. Do you always have to do it fast?
I do. Your first or your last, right? Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty fast. In fact, I'm really fast at closing loans. And I'm pretty excited. And
Just how fast are you, Philip?
10 days.
Well, that's fast. That's quick.
Yeah, man. Think about that. TheHomeLoanExpert.com, we're really excited to announce and roll out our 10-day closing guarantee. 10 days, we will get you to the closing table. So think about that. If you're out there trying to buy a home, you know how competitive that is. You need every advantage you can get. How about when you write that offer, you tell the seller you can close in 10 days or less? That's a good place to start. Gives you a leg up on that competition. Or how about if you're thinking about a cash-out refinance? Probably our most popular loan right now. A lot of uncertainty in the world. Everything costs a lot of money. Cash-out refinance is the way to go there. We can have you closed by the end of the month. Our average client received over $54,000 with that cash-out refi. How much can you get? Let's find out today. Got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Classic Car Show and Concert, September 25th at the Factory in Chesterfield, with performances by Jackal and Stephen Piercy from Rat. Tickets for the concert on sale now. Got a classic car you want to show off? Vehicle registration is open now. The Classic Car Show and Concert. A day of fun for the family and a night of rock.
Find out how to get tickets at thefactorystl.com.
If you are a commercial property manager, property owner, small business owner, or are involved in operations, listen up. Engineer Design Facilities has become the #1 commercial fire alarm service provider in the market. EDF's goal is to not increase your operating budget, but rather decrease it, and at the same time service your business's commercial fire alarm needs with the most experienced and competent technicians this region has to offer. Make sure your building is up to code. Email fire@edf-rg.com to schedule your systems evaluation today. That's fire@edf-rg.com.
Deagle Truck Center has been the St. Louis area's go-to medium-duty truck dealer since 1933. Deagle Truck Center is a union shop looking for technicians and bodymen for both their Hazelwood and St. Louis locations, offering the highest rates of pay in the area, plus benefits. An authorized Hino and Isuzu dealer, Deagle's friendly and knowledgeable staff is prepared to make sure you have the best experience. Stop by the Hazelwood location to see their large selection of pre-owned inventory. Visit DeagleTruckCenter.com to learn more. That's DEGEL truckcenter.com.
Maggie O'Brien's your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years. Host any size event at our downtown location. Ride our shuttle to and from concerts, Blues and Cardinals games, and make sure to grab a drink and a bite to eat before all of them. Trying to watch the big game? We have it on one of our many TVs at our Sunset Hills location. Come join the fun and see what the buzz is all about. Maggie O'Brien's, 2 great locations. Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh, just south of Watson Road. In downtown at 20th and Market Street. Union Station is next to us.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis, you are listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 HD2 FM, The Potted Plant, TMASTL.com, YouTube.com/TMASTL, and the TMASTL app. Welcome to our Munganess 7 o'clock hour. Timothy, Michael, McKernan, Douglas, Elvin, Vaughn, Kenneth, Iggy, Strode, Action, Jackson, Virgin, Pringle, Sauce, Boss, and the Plowhawk on the 1s and 2s. And Doug, this is the week we're doing the giveaway for the Lemmings Open. We will all give up our holes. So we're giving that away for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Send yours in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. See if you can compete with Gunter. This Gunter has really emerged.
Yeah, he has.
The morning after at InsideSTL.com.
He went to some German writing class in Heidelberg.
I'm not giving up my hole for an email.
Did we get some sort of text or email telling us that we had to do this?
There was an email.
Look in your
corporate initiative.
God.
It's a corporate.
It's a week-long thing, kind of like the app giveaway. Now we're giving away our holes.
Yep, take your pick. You can also text it for our holes, 314-881-TMA5. That's the Engineer Design Facilities text inbox. And we really want to take about 20, 30 calls today. 636-9004-TMA. That's how you can get involved on the Steve Schmidt Kia of North County phone lines. Doug, I mean, it's a Sadie Hawkins here. The Cardinals, Albert Pujols, Trala, Missouri shocks the world and is able to take down Abilene Christian, kind of putting the drink haters in their place.
Right.
Plowhawk, I'm talking to you.
Well, they win by 14?
17.
They won 2 of the last 3.
Yep. See?
I saw one.
Post Malone fell through the stage. Jackson was there as our correspondent.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
Maybe let's get that out of the way.
Really?
He fell right through the stage?
Yeah.
I thought he fell off the stage.
Through.
Fell through it.
Fell through.
And it kind of looked
Sounds
painful.
like a lawsuit in that case.
The up-close camera looked painful.
He's the one that did it.
What?
Well, his crew's the one that wanted a hole there. I guess it was probably a riser.
See, again, the hole is the theory. The hole is the theme.
It's the theme today.
Why would you want a hole there? Maybe the lead singer will fall through it.
Probably for a riser or something.
I think his guitar emerged from said hole, and then they didn't properly fill the hole, which, again, is the theme of this week's Morning After.
And so during a song, I guess he backed right into it and disappeared from view?
Was he performing Circle at that moment? I think he was. and he was just making his way around the stage, and into the hole he went, and everybody gasped as they watched him go into that hole.
How deep was this hole?
Clip that off.
And how dark?
Oh, what about this, Doug? From the 314, I'm a girl. Let's go private.
There were some girls screaming in the front row.
Because they thought he was gone? He'd been swallowed up?
Screaming, medics!
But he did break 3 ribs.
He did?
Yeah.
On that fall?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
So he must have fallen a considerable distance.
Reggie Bush was about to tell him, hey.
I think it's the way he
lawyer up.
fell. I think it's the way he fell. I mean, it wasn't like he fell into a manhole 20 feet deep. Then he came back and sang 3 songs.
Yeah, how about that? What a champion.
God love him.
I can imagine what was going through his mind as he's falling. He's saying, oh, hell, this show is not working.
Complaints, Doug, coming in the early, going a little surprising. My camera, I assume that's from females as well.
Yeah.
Doug, they wake up on Monday mornings, and it's skittle diddling time, and if I am not in full view...
Just we're getting half your head.
The lopsided half?
I think so. Yeah.
Good. That's the good side. Jackson actually has the audio. Plowhawk's tending to the
What's up?
I was at the show on Saturday night.
How about this? Is a first-hand report, Doug.
It was crazy. I thought
Who would you go with, Gareth?
No, different person. And
Doug immediately knew.
That's our lead.
There it is. We have a new lead, Sadie Hawkins.
We just went to the show. It was wonderful. I got off.
Who's we?
Me and this person.
His girlfriend.
No.
Yeah, this guy's a man in love.
No.
He took a girl.
Oh, of course he did. Kidding me?
Well, why not just say I took some girl?
I did. I took a girl.
Why so cryptic, though?
Because every time I say that, I get this prying eyes.
I don't know. Lisa Ann says you have Joe Burrow swagger.
That's right.
And Joe Burrow swagger means not going around just flaunting that you're on the street with women.
Oh.
Well, I took a dude to Pitbull. There's no shame in letting us know what gender you took.
Yeah, trust me. Like Gangster Pete says, there's no shame in my game.
Was this a leggy bikini model that you took?
No. But regardless, we're at the show.
Does she listen to this show?
No.
Does she know what you do for a living, or do you identify yourself as Balloon Party, a Sports Center update guy?
I'm in business. That's what I say.
I'm in business.
Yeah, total lie. But we're at the show, enjoying it, and all of a sudden, down goes Posty. And we thought it was really serious because his leg was shaking a ton, and all of it, like,
His leg was sticking out of the hole?
No, so he fell into the hole. Because apparently when they do the acoustic part of the show, they lift the mic stand up through there. But they
Doug, what song does he perform acoustically?
I don't have a
He did
clue.
Go Flex acoustically, which was great. It's one of my favorite songs. But they forgot to close it, so he stuck his whole leg without even noticing, stuck his whole leg down, and he fell right onto his stomach, and then was just lying on the ground for 5 minutes.
Oh, so his whole body didn't disappear from the stage?
No,
He fell forward
he didn't.
like a recline.
Yeah, so he smacked his ribs against it, and he was down on the ground, and his leg was shaking, so everyone thought it was like something really serious. And he already said before the show, like right when he came out on the show, he said he wasn't feeling great. And so he thought...
That's the way to get out of there early.
So he thought... But he came back out and kept performing. It was great. They probably missed like 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah,
How long was the delay?
So he was down on the ground for like 5 minutes, and then he was probably backstage for 10 minutes, so 15 minutes or so. Gave me an opportunity to pee.
I saw a couple of weeks ago, Luke Combs gave a concert, and there was something wrong with his voice. He couldn't hit all the notes, so he refunded everybody's money at the concert.
Yeah, Weekend had that happen at Stanley Steamer's building in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Post Malone tweeted out that he felt bad.
Yeah, we have the audio.
Here's the audio.
Oh, okay.
Doug, take a listen.
All right. Hit the lever.
Hold on. Jackson, but I think there might be some profanities in there. Did you do some deleting?
I bleeped it out.
All right, God bless you. All right,
I think the camera,
is he
by the way.
cursing?
Oh, thank you. I bet I look hot.
Hit the lever, Blousy.
And love you guys so much. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for putting up with my dumb ass. There was a big... so whenever we do the acoustic part of the show, the guitar's on the guitar stand and it goes down. And there's this big ass hole, so I go around there and I turn the corner and bust my ass. And winded me pretty good, got me pretty good, and we just got back from the hospital, and everything's good. Everything's good. They gave me some pain meds and everything, so we can keep kicking ass on the tour. I just want to apologize to everyone in St. Louis, and I want to say thank you guys so much for coming to the show, and next time I'm around this way, we're going to do a 2-hour show for you so we can make up for the couple missed songs that we missed. And thank you guys for your support, and thank you for your love, and thanks for hanging around even though I got my ass kicked by myself. So I love you guys so much. Thank you, man. Have a great night. Thank you, St. Louis.
That's a guy who gets it.
That's a guy who gets it.
Where did he post that?
Twitter.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He put on a great show. It was really electric.
I read that he is almost a 3-pack-a-day smoker.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Really?
Yeah.
50 darts a day.
50 darts a day.
That'd be one in your hand all the time, wouldn't it?
He was smoking during the show.
Oh, yeah, you would have to.
You can't smoke in there.
You're not allowed to, are you?
He got on his little stool he did the acoustics on, smoked a dart while singing.
Huh.
Who's going to tell him no, you know?
I don't know. I guess they just have to let it go.
This city probably would.
We're ending this.
Somebody with a giant cane come out and yank him off stage.
There was an empty seat in that building, too. It was packed.
No, I heard a lot of people went. What is his genre, would you say?
He's a rapper, but he's kind of a pop star. As I've said before, the lines on that are kind of blurred. So they're kind of one and the same.
Yeah, I thought he was a rapper, and then he played at the Emmys, or the Grammys, and I said, God, this guy's pretty good. He's not rapping.
He came up as a rapper. He's kind of developed more into pop, but he's certainly
What do you
still has
think
rap songs.
is his most pop successful song? Jackson, who attended the concert with a lovely lady.
His most popular song in general is Congratulations, but that's with Quavo, who's a rapper as well.
Doug, that's with Quavo.
I would say his
Is he with
biggest
Migos?
rock star, but that's also 21 Savage. That's a rapper. That's
Doug, do you think
of a
it's
rap
more?
song.
Do you think it's more 21 Savage?
Oh,
do you think it's
hell,
more post?
Hell.
I would say Sunflower is one of his most popular songs. That's with Sway Lee, another kind of a rapper, but more of a pop star.
Dude, he makes $500,000 per concert and made $60 million last year.
Yeah.
Just
He's
in
big.
touring?
And how old is he? He's 27
bills.
Yeah.
Now, Jackson, did you pay for everything on the date, or did the two of you go Dutch?
Nice.
So the tickets I was given, like I said,
It's part of the deal when you go to Ladue.
wonderful gift.
Ladue privilege.
The drinks were all inclusive.
Oh,
All
jeez.
inclusive.
Yeah, so I
That's
kind of got
a-
tanked up.
Where did you sit for these all-inclusive drinks?
What's that thing called? The Bull and the Bear Club?
Oh, it's Stiefel Day at the ballpark.
Wow.
How are my friends?
The first
in
second-
the Central Corridor.
I walk down the stairs, the first person I see is Vladimir Tarasenko.
Look at this guy's hanging out with 91,
Of
Doug.
course you did.
I was like, who are you again?
And Vladdy opening the door to his suite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was great.
It was at Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Guys, you're only allowed to smoke at Enterprise Center during Post Malone and Guns and Hoses. Thanks. That's from It's Kathy.
That's right. Guns and I forgot about that. They were yelling at us because we didn't know that.
There were a lot of concerts this week. And
I had to sit next to the last row at Busch Stadium, and here you are at the Bull and Bear Club next to
Yep.
Vladdy with this bikini model.
It just shows how important what high school you went to in St. Louis
I know.
is, and there's the difference. There's Ladue,
Yeah.
and
I
there's
think it's-
Kirkwood.
I think it's Balloon Party.
You think it's the balloon party privilege?
I think it is.
I will say, and I think this is
A lot of
encouraging.
people in the balloon party audience love Post Malone.
But I would say it's encouraging because I got recognized at Post Malone more than I have at any other public venture I've ever been
Look
on.
at this guy now. Now he's talking about being out and about. Look at where's Jerry Berger, Doug?
Probably 10 people were like, love the show, man. And they were young, and it was great.
How old were they? And I would imagine all female?
Zero.
I don't understand.
Except I have another story about that.
Oh, somebody had the less popular MFF.
It sure sounds that way.
No, but there's like probably late 20s, early 30s guys. But then I was at this festival yesterday at WashU.
Look at this. What are we doing here? Are we doing an NPR show now?
Just shut this show down.
Hanging out with Becky Weefberg.
And, a lady, probably 40, comes up to me and was like, hey, I love the show. Can I get a selfie for my husband? I was like, all right.
Nice.
Whoa. Iggy, is that a cock?
That's what she literally said. She goes, this is a cock.
Where do they see
that's
you
Iggy.
often enough to recognize you?
That's a nice, actually, yeah, he's not on cam. Yeah, what's that about?
I have
now that I think about it.
An iconic hairline, I guess.
Clip it off.
Most
we have to
iconic
know.
hairline in entertainment.
We have to know what kind of festival this was before we can...
It was a Jewish cultural festival.
Oh, probably an art show.
Yeah.
Invite only.
Yeah, very risky.
Net worth $10 million minimum.
It was free parking.
Like
of course it was free parking. Surprised you even had to drove. They probably came pick you up and
car service.
Man, Julio, where's the stretch?
I'm telling you, this guy. Jackson, did this last give you 48 hours notice before the concert to prep yourself for some anal pleasure? That's from Breakfast Gyms.
I'm going to pass right over that. But I was given these tickets at like 4:15 afternoon on Saturday. So
what were you doing, watching the Abilene Christian game?
No, that shut down finally.
I couldn't find it.
Finally get on with my day.
I couldn't find the game.
It was on ESPN
I didn't
Plus.
even look.
ESPN Plus, that's too much work. ESPN Plus is too much work.
I didn't get it.
You didn't miss much, trust me.
Manchild79 says, sounds like your boy might need to pull up to Wash U festivals.
It was a good time.
Please make sure that Jamie Rivers knows that Jackson hung out with number 91 this weekend. That's from the 314. Jamie Rivers and Jackson currently at war.
Oh, why?
Jamie Rivers is under the impression that Jackson's been running his mouth a little bit, so he busted into the studio and says, Piddles, I hear you got a problem.
Yeah, he even called here and let him have it.
Well, he went after Iggy for saying
right.
he had a decent career.
He wasn't a fighter type guy, was he?
Oh, he'd mix it up.
He'd scrap? Okay.
I wouldn't scrap with him.
Wasn't his main thing.
But then Kerry Davis walked in the next day.
Also wouldn't scrap with him.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, Tesla's sick.
It's a rough business. You better be ready to put up your dukes.
You got to defend your takes.
Right.
I went to a Lebanese festival yesterday for about 5 minutes.
I didn't do anything.
I just went to pick up some kibby.
Some kibby?
Kibble?
At St. Raymond's. A listener turned me on to it, and...
Now we're done with Jackson, and now we're going to move on to your little week.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just
I don't want
throwing
any
in
more
what
prying.
I did yesterday. Okay. Everybody always says, "Do you ever get any guppy, get any guppy, get any
Everybody
kibby?"
always says it.
Everyone's saying that.
So
we get a T-shirt of that, Jackson. Everybody always says.
Somebody pointed out that
guppy?
St. Raymond's was having a Lebanese festival, so...
You can't go anywhere in this town without some stranger stopping you and say, hey, did you get any guppy?
So I just went and picked up some kibby.
Instead of the guppy, you got kibby.
Well, it's the same thing. We call it guppy.
Kimmy Gibbler.
Kimmy Gibbler was kibby.
Shrub removal?
That's correct.
What is kibby?
It's like fried meat.
Fried meat.
I don't know how it's in the shape
Tough to find that in St. Louis.
It's in the shape of a football. I don't know how to explain it with a bunch of spices.
Just a big, giant fried football?
And it's hollow. It's hollow. It's almost like a hollow Easter egg when you break it apart. There's nothing inside. I don't know how to explain it.
In my head, Christmas Vacation turkey comes to mind. Where it's like hollow. There's like nothing in it.
I went to a festival too, Tim. Look at me. That's from Tracy Woodson.
Well, I just threw in that I went there, so... It took me 90 seconds to tell that story. Now I'm done. Is that okay?
We'd like to hear more.
God, you people.
Where's St. Raymond's?
Damien. I mean, I can go every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, St. Raymond's serves lunch.
Where's the St. Raymond's?
It's down the city. It's an old Catholic church. But on Wednesdays, they serve Lebanese food. But all of the old Lebanese women have retired who knew how to cook Lebanese food. Now it's kids, and they're not really good at it.
And that's where you get this constant questioning. Did you get any guppy? Did you get any guppy?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that. 3 people pointed out
Did you
that
get
St.
any?
Raymond's. I did get some yesterday. I took it home and ate it.
I thought you got the kibbles.
It's called kibby.
Kibby.
Holy hijacking. What a way to start the week. No greasing of the hole, just ram it right in. We had 25 minutes of our sweet Virgin Prince and Post Malone, and now it's Ken time, baby. That's from Indianapolis columnist Brian Hench.
I'm done. That was my story. It was a Lebanese festival. Jackson went to a Jewish festival. Anybody else go to a festival over the weekend?
I went to the Green Tree Festival in Kirkwood.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
There you go. Hijack.
Oh,
packed.
Yeah, I was driving. I'm like, I can't get around town. What the hell's going on?
I went to one of the food stands. I got 2 cheese quesadillas and a hero, $60.
Ooh, good value.
Nice.
Cheese
quesadillas?
Family of 4?
Yes. $60.
Nice value.
What?
I said, what am I doing? What am I doing?
It was money well spent, though.
Yeah,
you didn't spend that much at the baseball game, did you?
No.
See, Around the time Jackson probably ran into 91, I was eating a Hungry Man and a bag of gummy bears.
That baby.
I had a kind of a bachelor weekend. Madison doesn't get home till tomorrow, so...
No festival for you?
No, I didn't do anything. Felt pretty damn good.
Oh. Tim, did you go festivaling?
I did not. I went to Kerry Davis's club taking on the Kirkwood Pioneers. Took my son to his first high school football game.
Oh, yeah.
Since that was pretty close. And Kerry, when he dropped by, this time not to accost Jackson, I think he just left something in the studio on Friday. And I always ask him about his upcoming game, and he said, we're playing Kirkwood tonight. I'm like, oh, we got 2 former NFLers on the sideline with Jeremy Macklin and Kerry Davis. And I'm like, oh. He goes, hey, come on by. I'll get you on the sideline. So went over there and enjoyed that. I don't know if it was a festival, but I saw some Hazelwood Central Kirkwood Pioneer football.
Who won?
Kirkwood did.
Did they?
Yeah, they have a great running back. Great running back. Yeah.
Well, you'll see a dump truck in his front porch.
So you were on the sideline.
Helicopters on it.
Jackson was in the Bull and Bear Club.
Yeah.
I was in the next to the last row at the top of Busch Stadium.
What about Iggy and his guppy?
Iggy was... Did you get the guppy? Did you get any guppy?
It wasn't that... I mean, I was at the ballpark anyway, so it's just right off of 9th Street, so it wasn't that far at all.
You left the stadium early?
As soon as they gave out the bobblehead, I was gone.
Second inning?
Third inning. God, I've never been so bored.
Live read.
God, it was a slow game.
God almighty. It's just,
I heard it was pretty bad.
It was sneaky hot yesterday, too.
Yeah,
it was a little warm.
It was cold in the morning. And then it was
cold
hot.
and rainy,
Yeah. I had a sweatshirt on sitting outside, and then it was hot at the baseball game, so I stayed till third inning. But, I mean, St. Raymond's is right there, so I just said, I'm going to stop and get some.
Yeah. Not much action in the game. Can someone rattle the bats?
Nice.
Anybody? Can we put up a crooked number on the tote board, please? 2 straight game, 20 innings without a run against these guys. We got the one run when Kinsey got hit on the yard. That's it. No one drove in a run all weekend against the Red Lake Ball Club. I'm tired of that. We can't expect Wayno or Mixie or Monsey or Flaresy or Kinsey to throw a shutout every time out there. We are the best fans in baseball. We deserve a lot better than that. If we don't get better than that, I don't know. Maybe we have to share the title of best fans in baseball. But tied for first. But tied for first is not good enough. Not for this fan base, it's not good enough. We come for the bobblehead and the teddy bear. We stay for the nachos and the W. We didn't get that W now, did we? 3 out of 4 doesn't cut it. Someone has got to rattle the bats. There are termites in the bat rack, and that won't cut it.
Isn't it a 5-game?
Tired of this, and I'm tired of that. 5-game series, we only got 3 of them. 3's not enough for these fans. The players aren't here for the money, so what else are they here for? For the W's for us.
Where do we get our refund for the tickets?
Where do I get my refund? I didn't pay for the ticket. I'd still love a refund. I'd like to make money. I feel like I should get money when I sit through 9 innings and there's not a single run. Goose eggs.
Oh, Brewers lost.
Brewers got beat. That helps a little bit. But I don't care about the Brewers. I care about the Redbirds. Let's focus on our own issues. Stop your scoreboard watching, Iggy. We have to do this ourselves. Albert did not get number 500, and that was disappointing. 700, that's disappointing. What's he going to get it on the road?
He's got to get 699 first, doesn't he?
Let's get 699 before we take care of 700.
Nice.
Maybe Albert's looking ahead. Rough weekend, fellas.
Doug, the Cardinals are 6 games behind the Metropolitans.
They're not going to catch you. 6? Are you kidding me? How long can we continue to be the best fans if we're 6 games behind the Met Ball Club? I don't want some other fan base to say we're also the best fans, but tied for first just won't cut it with me.
Hey, guys. I saw Pujols' bobblehead on the Fenton buy-sell page for $150.
Really? I was offered $30 when I left the stadium.
Yeah.
Just cash money?
Yeah.
They all do that. Every bobblehead, there's a guy sitting out there, usually in a wheelchair or on a box or on a bench, and they're offering to pay $30 for it.
I would have taken it.
Doesn't matter who it is. Pujols, it could have been Lars Nootbaar. It's $30.
Yeah. Is it just impossible to buy a single bobblehead off a website somewhere that sells bobbleheads? At a reasonable price?
I'm sure they are, but they're going to be probably the same price. They go off of what people are paying on eBay, probably.
So it's like the market? They don't have like a set price for...
You would think.
No way I'm buying one bobblehead for $140.
Well, I saw the price of it on eBay.
Just no way in God's green earth I can justify any type of that.
No, and I understand it's a fun little thing to have, but when I go home, I put it on a shelf and I never look at it again.
Yeah, for Gobble Bowl it would be a raffle item, but I see what it's going for on eBay. I may make it an auction item now.
Huh. That's a savvy business move.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we're trying to make as much money as possible.
For sure.
Mug and Ass, sponsor of our 7 o'clock hour. Your thoughts. Did you go? Did you wait? Did you get one? Did you sell it? 314-881-TMA5, 636-9004-TMA, Steve Schmidt Kia, North County phone lines. And you're welcome to email in for our design, air, heating, and cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. We're in the Mug and Ass St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota. 7 o'clock hour, work with the best, work with Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, and Peter Munganast, and all of the wonderful people at Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. Just go online at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com, and you can go shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle and get your car serviced at Munganast as well. Even if you didn't get your car from Munganast, they are the official automotive provider of TMA. It's Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota, online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. It is Munganast. Doug Ryan Kelly is the title sponsor of this program. He's online at thehomeloanexpert.com.
These are trying times in the mortgage industry and the home industry, but Ryan Kelly is right there to help you out. Home equity is still up. Now's the perfect time to get a cash-out refi. Rates will go back up soon. Act before they do. The average cash-out refi right now with the Home Loan Expert is $54,000. The Home Loan Expert can structure your loan to miss out on a few months of payments. Find the financial freedom you want with $54,000 from a cash-out refi and no payments for a couple of months. The Home Loan Expert has rates over a quarter point lower than the national average and is home to the 10-day closing guarantee. The HomeLoanExpert.com is where you go. For Ryan Kelly, he will take good care of you. Loans for everyone. He's got the Hero Loan for the veterans. He's got the Teacher Appreciation Loan and that Union Loan. If you work at a union or if you're a teacher, you get a $500 gift card with a refinance or an original loan. The Home Loan Expert will take great care of you, as he did with me twice. It's the HomeLoanExpert.com.
There it is, Ryan Kelly, title sponsor of this award-winning presentation. Jackson, tell the people about Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies.
Best in the business. You know, you could be saving up, say, for your kid's college fund. Maybe you want to take a vacation. Maybe you just want to start saving some more money. It's always good to have money. Rainy day fund, as they call it. There's a ton of situations where you're going to want to save money, and Mark Hanna can help you out with that. He can build you out a strategy by learning about you and where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. He learns about your financial situation now, where you want to be, and then he builds out a plan for you. If you have to make adjustments, give him a call like every 6 months or a year, or whenever you really need him, and he'll adjust you, get you straightened out, because he's the best in the business. He's an incredible human being. You hear him every Thursday on the show. He's worked with me, Prod Joe, Doug, a ton of our listeners, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say that Mark Hanna is the best in the business. So if you don't have anybody, if you're throwing money into a savings account, don't do that. Get in touch with Mark Hanna. He'll get you straightened out. He's the best. And if you already have somebody, consider making the switch over to Mark, because like I said, he's the best in the business.
There it is. Mark Hanna, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. News and notes here for the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Thursday night, we're at Maggie O'Brien's, Jack.
That's where we are.
We are at Maggie O'Brien's on Thursday night for TMA Live. Gets underway at 7 o'clock. That's Maggie O'Brien's in Sunset Hills for the Michelob Ultra Lemmings Open pre-party TMA Live broadcast. How do you do? Then we will be live broadcasting from Normandy from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Friday morning. And Doug, balls in the air, all over the air.
Oh, yeah.
10:30. Lemmings Open, presented by Michelob Ultra. Donut Drive-In providing breakfast for all the participants. It is sold out. And then Potbelly providing the sandwiches for lunch. And the after party Friday night is pizza night partner Uncle Leo's providing the delicious treats for after the golf. And it takes place this Friday at Normandy. Come one, come all, and that will be your table setter for Missouri and Auburn in what is expected to be the game. Kind of surprising CBS hasn't flexed it into the 2:30 slot, but as of right now, it's still at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Speaking of which, Mike Flanagan is creating the This Is Brutal hoodie. Now it's a hoodie. And as a special, as we are continuing to get designs from listeners, and we welcome you to submit them. And then all I do, Doug, is I just go, oh, here's $100. I just Venmo, just $100.
How about Zelle?
I Zelle as well, actually. I Zelle and Venmo. I guess I had to write one check for somebody who didn't have Venmo or Zelle. But whatever. The point is you get currency for a design and selling the rights to us here on TMA and create designs. TMA designs seem to be the ones that work quite well, although This Is Brutal really doesn't have anything to do with TMA. And that was a home run. So everything we are doing here today, this isn't a this week thing, 20% off everything. TMASTLshop.com. 20% off everything. 20%.
How much?
20%.
What's the discount?
20.
Okay.
TMASTLshop.com. No promo code needed, as we have all kinds of shirts, hats, hoodies, golf club head covers. Everything is in there at TMASTLshop.com. Cardinal themes, Missouri themes, and, of course, TMA themes. It's all there for you. 20% off today, TMASTLshop.com. We talk about Friday night is pizza night. Our partner this week, JJ Twigs. 20% off your order at JJ Twigs when you let them know you are a TMA listener. That's JJ Twigs, Southampton location only. JJ Twigs, 20% off. Friday night is pizza night. If you're craving some delicious pizza, JJ Twigs, Friday night is pizza night partner this week here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Doug, Missouri fans perhaps a little more despondent today than they were last week, which is saying something, a wide variety of reasons. They had to fight off the Wildcats of Abilene Christian.
Rugged bunch.
34-17. Meanwhile, the Wildcats who beat them 40-6. 40-6, the final score in Manhattan, Kansas, not 40-12. Those Wildcats were beaten by, I guess, Alabama. Is that who beat them?
I don't think that's who they played.
It was Tulane. Tulane. Yeah, so K-State lost to Tulane after beating Missouri 40-6. And so there might be a little concern. Let's take a little listen here on the Colonel's post-game show. You know, he's going to join us, presented by James Carlton at 9 o'clock.
Oh, good.
Colonel will.
Hit the lever plaza.
Hey, guys, welcome in. Gabe DeArmond, Gerard Hamilton here live from the Faurot Field Memorial Stadium press box. Missouri, a 34-17 winner over Abilene Christian in a game that happened. That's really about what we've got to say about it.
Colonel, just doesn't like the assignment.
I didn't see a second of it. Did you guys watch any of it?
Not a second of it.
I did.
Beautiful day. And after the K-State thing, I'm like, I'm just not with this operation. They could have won 70-0. Yeah. It wouldn't have mattered. I think, and we'll talk with Gabe at 9 o'clock. I mean, Missouri fans are. It's in 10 days. It's amazing to see what's happened. And I'll tell you, Doug, you know, I was saying, and I still say, that I would not terminate him after this year. I'm not challenging those who say they would. I think there are more people in the Missouri fan camp now who would like to see a change at head coach if this doesn't turn around than there are who want to give him a chance. Now, that's not to say it's like 90-10. I've just seen this wave over the last 10 days. And I think the core issue is clearly specific to the offensive line, but also if he's supposed to be an offensive genius, and that's the play calling, this just isn't happening right now. And if you have to battle and stave off Abilene Christian, thank you, I think Missouri fans are going, oh, God, this might be a 3-win season. The thing is Auburn is garbage. I was wrong on that. I really thought Auburn might not be that bad. Auburn is garbage, and so maybe they could somehow pull that off.
Yeah, but Mizzou's garbage, too.
Yeah, I'm aware. And that it's just two of the worst in the SEC, minus your standard Friends of the Feather Vanderbilt. So this could be a situation that if Missouri gets them, we could have another funeral ceremony for an SEC coach who loses.
They
to,
will.
They would absolutely fire Brian Harsin if they lose to Missouri.
100%. And you can't justify another 2 weeks with him or 3 weeks. I mean, he's already gone. The AD that hired him is already fired. I mean, he is on borrowed time there. So the Mizzou one would put the nail for sure.
Well, for supposedly being this offensive guru, we've really seen nothing to support that. Nothing to say, boy, that's a creative offense. Boy, I love what they're doing in this area or that area. It's kind of the opposite. It's, come on, let's do something. Get it going.
And I'm not he's obviously aware of the offensive woes, but if you want to, have a long career there at Mizzou, you got to get somebody that can call plays. Because I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how good Abilene Christian is or what have you, but
they're not.
You should be able to. They still can't get Luther Burden in the offense. The punt return, unbelievable. I saw highlights of that, but honestly, to have a guy that's a 5-star recruit go up against Abilene Christian and have 9 yards receiving? I don't, and I know he was injured. I know he went to the tent and came back, but. Nonetheless, I still don't. They don't have a quarterback to get their one shining star the ball. I don't get it.
Well, not right at the moment, but I think Sam Horn is.
So then that gets me into the fact that they weren't able to pull away enough that they were able to get Sam Horn into the game.
Right.
And that was the one thing that I was looking forward to watching. I wanted to see it, go back and watch, because I wasn't going to sit there and watch it live, and see Sam Horn play. And that is stunning. Gabe DeArmond writing this morning, what's the right level of skepticism coming out of that game? I think it kind of depends on what your goals and expectations are for this team. Missouri's played an FCS team every year since 2006, with the exception of 2020. And they've played an FCS team 18 times this century. Their average margin of victory, 50.9 to 9.3. So this one was certainly much closer. But the offensive line, that's the offensive line isn't something that's fixable. If you are to ask guys who played at that kind of level what separates the teams that are, the blue bloods in college football from the teams that are trying to get there, it's the talent on the lines and the size. You can't fix that. Trust me, I've been trying to fix size for a long time. It's just what they have, and they really do not have an SEC caliber line. And keep in mind, they have looked like they've looked without playing an SEC team yet. It's about to get real. And I don't know if necessarily this Saturday is when it gets real, but then it's going to get awfully intriguing with what the month of October and November holds for them.
I was with Tim, I think it was maybe last year, that talked about revolving coaches, and you got to give a guy 4 years to see what he's got, and I'm with that. But at the same time, you have to show some progress. And this guy has shown nothing. And you can't say, well, he's got to wait for his players. I mean, with the portal, there's no waiting for your players. You can stack your team in 1 year if you go through the portal.
And you can lose your recruits in 1 year. So recruiting, to me, is important, but keeping the recruits is just as important in getting them on campus.
Yeah, that game has changed things quite a bit. I mean, that's what played a role. Herm Edwards fired over the weekend by Arizona State. Coaches are getting whacked, quick, fast, in a hurry. Now, Edwards had a recruiting violation situation pop up, and then his coaches left and his star players left. But because of the way that you have fluidity now in college football, keeping players is a huge part of the off-the-field element in addition to bringing them in. And if you do not have an offense that can get the offensive stars the football, you're going to have to worry about those skilled players bolting. And this thing, at this moment, even though they are 2-1, which is, I think, where people would have expected them to be, it feels a lot worse than the record of 2-1. Doug, your thoughts?
Well, when you play a team like Kansas State and look that bad, it kind of deflated the whole fan base. I think the fan base, at least I did, looked at that and said, oh, we got nothing this year.
And then when K-State loses to Tulane next week.
Yeah. And then you see where Drinkwitz came from, Appalachian State, beating everybody with some dramatic plays, having a season that maybe the best they've had for a while. The whole thing is just kind of really frustrating.
And I think the Auburn game is much bigger than even like what you anticipated coming into the season, because Auburn got rolled. Penn State's a decent team. They're not a 41-6. I mean, just come into an SEC and just absolutely house them. And so if Auburn not only wins, but maybe he wins by, double digit, 10, 14 points. That loss is going to look much worse than even when you thought about it in the preseason. If you lost to Auburn, maybe they make an effort. Maybe they're 3-1 at that time after that game. I mean, you're going to be 2-2, losing to Auburn, saving Harson's job. And then if you haven't watched Georgia play football, they are unstoppable. So that could be the season ender once they play Georgia. They could lose 65-0. And that's not a slide on Mizzou. Georgia's going to be everybody in the SEC by like 40+.
If they hold them to 65, that'll be a win.
Yeah, the Auburn game is so crucial, so critical, just for the fan base, the momentum, obviously team morale.
I don't know that you could lose 65-0 and consider it a win. I don't think it's gotten that bad.
Being facetious.
But I will watch every second of that Auburn game because I watched Auburn and Penn State, and I go, Missouri can beat this team. Now, I mean, will that happen? I'm not for sure, but Auburn.
The number started at 6.5. How about that?
Really?
Yeah. Now it's moved up to 7.5, but that shows you the state of things on the plains.
Is it possible, trying to find a silver lining, that Brady Cook gets another game or two under his belt and meshes with Burden a little bit, and that they're considerably better than what we've seen right now, that they've just started poorly, that they laid an egg at Kansas State, and they're actually considerably better than that? Is that possible?
From what I can see, and I want to preface this by saying I've never played a down of football in my life, but he's an indecisive quarterback with a bad offensive line, and that's a bad combination.
So are they saving their good plays for good teams?
I mean, I don't know. They've thrown the playbook.
Yeah.
If you've got a bad offensive line, you're not going to have a good quarterback because they all look the same laying flat on their back.
I'm still in love with Luther Burden, and you get him. You just see the punt return. Just get him the ball in anyway. It doesn't have to be a 15-yard slant pattern and throwing it on a dime. Literally just put an extra tight end out there and just do – I know they do bubble screens all the time. You might as well give it to your best player and try to see if you can do something. Wildcat, I do not care, but you give that dude a hole or a little lane or a crease and he's gone.
How about a wing tee for me?
I
like a wing tee.
They did a good amount of Wildcat against Abilene Christian.
Yeah, they need to start doing that. Dominic Lovett, I mean...
He caught a bomb. That was a good throw by Brady Cook. I'll give him that. He threw a really good pass to Dominic. I mean, he was so wide open.
Dominic Lovett, who did have the big game, is the one who said, because he played with, knows him, played with him, he said he's just a guy, you just got to get the ball in his hands, and then he can do things that you just never 100%. Could possibly draw up as far as a play can go. I guess an analogy would be what we saw with Marshall Faulk. They would either hand it off to him or they would just get it to him and then watch him turn nothing into something. And that, I think, would be the best chance that you have. And listen, beating Auburn would not shock the world. The nature of college football is and this is the nature of football in general, because you have a week in between games, usually, is to give too much credit to your own team for a win and be too critical of your team for a loss. Now, in Missouri's case, they're 2-1, but fans are feeling way down. I think if K-State would have beaten Tulane handily and Missouri would have done what they usually do to FCS teams, I don't think it would have felt as bad as it feels. But now you go, my God, Tulane beat K-State and Missouri struggled with Abilene Christian. This is going to be rough. The thing is, Auburn is so bad, and it's in such disarray there, and it already was back like this when they were looking to get rid of Harsin in February, that, it could be a spot where they sneak up and they get one. But again, the thing for me is the offensive line. I just don't think that's fixable unless somehow everything just revolves around Burden and he just carries them.
I think it felt different if they were 2-1 and they played K-State tough. Maybe lost 38-35.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So when fans talk about, if they don't get to 5 wins this year, then, and I understand, to me it's the way, and by that I mean the way you either win or the way that you lose. And Tennessee and Texas A&M last year were so eye-opening. Texas A&M because he was trying to manage the score, which I thought was, I don't even know what the right word would be for it, but disappointing would be a euphemism, and also, I think, indicative of a bigger picture problem, and how they got run off the field by Tennessee. It's a loss, yes, but it's the manner with which it went down, the manner with which they beat Abilene Christian, the manner with which they lost to K-State tells a hell of a lot more than just one win and one loss.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that last touchdown against Kansas State showed just what this team is made of.
Come on.
They do have moxie and a considerable amount of guile.
Yeah, I saw resilience on the
club that doesn't give up.
What if it gets down to the Georgia game? That's practice. What if the Georgia game, they're down 5 points with 5 seconds to go? Call that timeout. We know what we're going to do now because look what we did against K-State.
Same
We can
play.
do that.
Yeah.
That's what they're practicing for.
That Georgia team is a pro team, man.
We're down 68 to nothing, but we don't want to get shut out. Let's call a
Better than any
timeout.
Bama team I've ever seen.
They're just not fun to watch. They're just boring as hell.
Yeah, I think that's my problem. They're really boring, and that's why just open up the playbook. You recruited Bird in there, and Dominic Lovin's having a great year, but you need Burden to not just disappear before these SEC games. And now,
Let's bring in Mike Martz as offensive coordinator.
Why not?
I
Why
like
not do
loser.
something? you can't have Drink call the plays. You just can't because. I don't know if he's not creative enough or just doesn't call. He doesn't have great timing with, calling these little trick plays when everybody knows exactly what he's doing. He's just not creative enough.
Tim, the word you were looking for is tacky. Managing the score is tacky. Thanks. That's from Clevie Wade. Wins and losses don't matter anymore. You really just want/hope to see some development the rest of the season for Mizzou. That's from the Hunchback of Vaughan Castle.
Well, they matter to me because we go to bowls around here.
Thank you.
And we got to get 6 W's. And then everything will be okay.
Everything's fine once you get that trip. Guys, can we talk about the best football team in the state? Missouri State took Arkansas to the fourth quarter, a team that's going to boat race the Tigers. That's from Sister Catherine Patricia. How about that, Doug?
I think seeing what Sam Pittman is doing in Arkansas is part of the frustration here because Arkansas was horrible for years. And as soon as he got there, they were good. Ranked as soon as he got there.
The top 10.
It can be done.
Now, what Missouri fans say to that, just so you know, also with regards to Heupel, is that Pittman inherited Morris's recruits and they were better players. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you because I presented that as I was in the minority on the short sale on the Eli Drinkwitz hype train and going, well, what point do we start talking about the coach here? Yeah. That LSU thing, and then to a lesser extent, much lesser extent, the Florida Hail Mary from the 2-yard line in overtime, glossed over what, from my standpoint, were some clear questions at the very least. And so for those who were super, super high on Drinkwitz, this K-State situation, and now what you're seeing after Abilene Christian has them going, oh my God, maybe it's not real. And so what you've seen over the last 10 days is reality setting in for those who are really high on him. And certainly concern, because if he's not the guy, then you go back to starting from square one, and that is very scary if you're in the SEC.
Dude, if I'm Nebraska, I'm looking at Bobby Petrino, and I do not care. He got to get a D1 job again, right? Is he too tainted?
Don't say tainted.
Urban Meyer got another go-around. There's a lot of people with shady background that get second chances. That dude can flat coach. What he's doing at Missouri State is unreal. That little program, that thing, and what he had to inherit. He got to get a chance. I'm not saying Missouri ain't going to hire him, but if you're Nebraska or somebody with nothing to lose, he got to go somewhere. It's too good of a...
And he's got to be able to find a secretary in the Omaha area who will ride on that motorcycle with him.
I said those photos are... You never get rid of those. They're it's just... What a game.
There'd be a lot of programs that would want nothing at all to do with Bob.
100% agree. That's why I was wondering, is he too tainted to...
He may be at just the right spot for him right now, where they're just so happy to finally be somewhat relevant in football and somewhat competent that they'll write it out. They'll forget it and say, great, this guy put us on the map.
Yeah, and the Sam Pittman thing, look at Josh Heupel. They had so many players leave, all their recruits leave right when Heupel got, he had a bare cupboard and he had to go get a transfer quarterback. So
they'll say bare cupboard.
The cupboard is bare cupboard. I think it's the same thing.
Okay.
So, it's year 3. You think Pittman's still doing it with Morris players? You think Heupel's still doing it with the, regime before him? No, those are their players for the most part. That's the difference.
Not to put the Deus on the spot, but what do you think
it's just a table.
He needs to do to keep his job, and what does he have to do for a chance that he doesn't come back next year? Because after 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, I don't see how they get 6 wins.
I agree with that part, certainly that statement. I think my perspective on it is different, and that's been what's been eye-opening for me over the last week or so. There is such intense disappointment, concern, that for me, I didn't think him losing his job after the season was in play, and I still would bet against it, by the way, even though I would look at him most likely now is at best as a 5-win team. But the thing about Missouri and Jackson, I talk about this on Balloon Party with Gabe, they usually win a game that you didn't see them winning, and they usually lose a game that you didn't see them losing. At this point, though, I don't know what game they could lose that I wouldn't see it possible losing. I guess New Mexico State. I mean, New Mexico State is something else.
They are one of the worst programs.
And I realize, I mean, who in the world knows about New Mexico State unless you're really into college football or gambling? But they are. What was the final? I mean, Wisconsin was putting up 60-something on them. And that's Wisconsin, which doesn't necessarily run a high-flying offense. So Missouri gets New Mexico State. They get Vanderbilt. And then you go, where else are you going to find the wins when you look at the schedule? And I suppose you would look at Auburn and South Carolina as the possibilities if you want to get to 6. And I'm not saying I would expect it. I'm just saying if you're looking at it, because it's high. I mean, I guess Florida had to fade South Florida this weekend. So Tennessee looks really legit. I'm anxious to see that game this weekend. That's the game. College Football Game Day will be there this weekend for the first time since 2016 in Knoxville. And obviously the Georgia thing speaks for itself. I don't know. I mean, the point being, you asked a good question. I just think that there is more intensity directed toward him. And I don't think ADs fire coaches. I think boosters fire coaches.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And if the boosters are pissed enough, and the right boosters or the wrong ones, depending on your perspective, that's how moves are made. And, you know, if there is a real frustration with the way things are from the right or wrong people, again, depending on your perspective, then I don't know if there's a number as far as wins go. But, yeah, I think if you were to get to 5 wins, I would imagine he would be safe, because that means they would have had to have beaten most likely Auburn or South Carolina or Arkansas, I suppose. If Arkansas, you know, is now wobbly, I don't think. I mean, those kinds of games happen. Fluky games happen. Missouri went to the SEC championship in 2014, and they lost to Indiana. And I think they only won by 20 against South Dakota State in the opening week. So weird things can happen.
SIU beat Northwestern.
Yes, a team that you know, beat Nebraska. Yeah.
My thing is, if it's a 3-win team and your 3 wins are Louisiana Tech, New Mexico State, and Abilene Christian.
The 3 that you bought.
Yeah, but the main thing is, I don't think he even gets fired then. But if you start losing players, that's when you got to whack them before next year. The only way I think he gone if you see Luther Burden go, or you see Sam.
Yeah, that's
go,
a nice. You're right. You're right. That kind of thing, because that played a role in Herm Edwards. It's a different deal now in college football with looking at wins and losses. There's wins and losses, certainly, of course. I mean, if you're 3-9, you got a problem in almost any school in the Power 5. But if you're losing players because the portal now is such a factor, that's when schools will make a change. In addition to the wins and losses.
And if you're 3-9 and you got a wide receiver like Burton who's returning punts 78 yards for a touchdown and looks like a potential #1 draft pick as a wide receiver, they're all going to come after him.
Yeah. I mean,
Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State will probably all make their pitch for him at the end of the season.
And look at the wide receiver from Pittsburgh last year who's at USC. He had like 1,500 yards at Pitt, and they were ranked. That still didn't matter because he got more money and more of a look and more prestige at USC. So, to me, he's gonna get re-recruited this offseason, and it may be too tempting for him to pass up. Now, that is if it's the trend it's going to, where he's getting 20-yard receiving a game, and he has to do these incredible punt returns to show anybody that he's, still on the field. That could be a problem. Not saying he's going to.
And they can't just. It's not that they just recruit you to say, come play for a better team. They can throw $1 million at you, too.
Correct. I mean, they could throw anything they want out there. It's almost no limits.
Lincoln Riley's getting those players.
If you can go to USC, I mean, I know he decommitted from Oklahoma, went to Missouri, but you're going to have every team in the country going to go, okay, we'll showcase you. We're not going to – I mean, you'll have 20 yards a catch, not 20 yards a game. and we'll give you $500,000 to start. That sound good? It's going to be hard. You got to, if you're not creative on offense, that's fine. Just get your best player the ball. Like that. That's it.
And as a coach at Missouri, can you imagine how hard it is to discipline a player like Luther Burden when he does something wrong? To bark at him or to sit him on the bench for a couple plays if he does something wrong, if he's not listening? How do you do that? Knowing that you make any of these guys the least bit upset, they're gonna walk.
It's eggshell, walking on eggshell. For sure, it's harder to coach now than it was before, when you transferred and you sat a year out.
Yeah.
That was probably the best move.
I guess the answer is you got to have more than one Luther Burden.
Tony Bernhardt writing this morning on Sports Illustrated. What did we learn this weekend? Well, we learned that Auburn is simply not very good. So what now for Coach Brian Harsin? Football is really not that complicated. If you turn the ball over 4 times and your preseason All-SEC running back is held to 39 yards rushing, you're not going to win. And so it was for Auburn, now 2-1 and a 41-12 loss to Penn State at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It was Auburn's worst home loss in a decade. Harsin is now 8-8 in his first 16 games at Auburn with 5 straight losses to Power 5 competition. I'll admit it, I picked Auburn to win this game straight up. I thought the Tigers would be jacked up by the home crowd and could control the game with Tank Bigsby, who is a really, really good football player. Instead, it was Penn State.
That's a good name. Tanks.
Yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it? Yeah. That dictated tempo with 245 yards rushing and 6.3 yards per carry. And now the heat gets turned up even higher on Harsin. The Tigers are favored to beat Missouri on Saturday, but then comes an unforgiving stretch that includes LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. Boy, that's fun.
Oh, my.
Then, of course, there's Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Doug, the schedule is LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, A&M, and then Roll Tide.
Oh, God, the West would be terrible.
Harsin's like in prison with the marking his wall. How many days he's got left?
And he'll probably only make about $10 million, too.
Yeah, it will.
Those Auburn fans who want to make a change sooner later than later will be front and center on Paul Feinbaum's show today. I thought Auburn would use the Penn State game to build a little momentum. Now the outcome just seems so inevitable. Hope I'm wrong about that. That's from Tony Barr.
At this point,
Missouri could end another SEC coach.
But at this point, if you're Auburn, don't you just let Harsin take the beating instead of bringing in a new guy and have his reputation soiled by a bad team?
You do the interim coach because interms, you don't really, your record going in your next job, what have you, I don't think, holds any weight. But this is exactly like the end of the Orgeron LSU. They're just ready to move on.
Go Tigers!
And then you have the Missouri team to kind of come in here and sneak by with a win. So I would not be surprised at all after watching Auburn play over the weekend if Mizzou pulled out a win. Now they're certainly going to have to call better plays. I think Tank Bigsby will be more of a factor because Missouri's run game or run defense isn't,
Let's give the ball to Tanks Bigsby. How can you stop someone named Tanks Bigsby?
What about Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce. I liked him. And he was, 5'6", about 150 pounds?
Yeah.
Not much bigger than that.
That's exactly like
Darren Sproils.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Drinkwitz and his bad hair and poser sneakers is going to get axed. Thanks, Eric in the Central West End. Doug, you played Native American ball.
I did. And we never talked about Drinkwitz. Because he would come along about 60 years later.
So you guys didn't watch the game, but
no.
the ESPN Plus broadcast was rough.
Oh.
Dave Steckel was back.
Gosh. I'm happy he's going to be coaching the XFL. He said that, and there was one play where he was talking about something. He goes, "I can't hear anything about my headphones on the broadcast."
That's
and
like
then they went
to post-game show.
And then they went to commercial break. And then there was another moment where the sideline reporter, I guess, didn't realize her mic was on. She was like, "Hello, can anyone hear me?" Hello, while they're doing the broadcast of the game.
I hear her whistle.
I was like, "This is an SEC Network Plus broadcast if I've ever seen one." It was rough.
Wonder what time they'll put that Missouri-Georgia game.
Oh, it's an 11. Well, I guess they have a limit.
They have a limit on 11 o'clock games, and I'm sure they're looking at, we got to put them at 11 o'clock on the Vanderbilt deal.
Yeah. I guess maybe a 2 o'clock start.
Well, there's not a 2 o'clock.
Oh, a 3 o'clock start.
There's not a 3 o'clock. 2:30. Well, there's a 3 o'clock, isn't there? On the SEC network.
Yeah, it's
2:30 CBS.
Right.
But there's some good games. I think maybe Alabama and A&M are the same weekend on October 1st.
LSU is playing someone big
LSU's playing Auburn, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's not going to get the 2:30 spot.
Especially if Auburn loses to Missouri the week.
I don't know. And I'm sure they want to put Georgia on they're not going to bury him on the SEC network.
No, they wouldn't do an SEC Network Plus with Georgia. Georgia's their crown.
Well,
it'd be nice for Missouri if they get a night game. The problem is if it's on full display for everybody. It's like a massacre in the.
Careful about that.
That's how you lose recruits, is you put that team on TV.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Guys, Missouri should play at 9 p.m. with Hawaii. That's from the Hunchback of Owen Castle.
The Iowa game went till like 2 in the morning, 1 or 2 in the morning this weekend.
God.
What was that?
Was that at Hawaii?
Yeah, no. There was. I don't know the full details of it, but Iowa, like the fourth quarter of an Iowa game, started at like 12:30 or 1 in the morning.
Where were they playing?
Iowa.
Well, it had to be delayed.
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't think you're playing a 10 o'clock game in Iowa.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, they must have had a weather delay or something. Game started at. Well, these games, a lot of them last 4 hours, so. If it started at 9, I guess you could get to 12:30 pretty easy.
Here's an observation. In 1985, the Tigers played 11 Power 5 opponents, going 1-10, only defeating Iowa State. That's considered the low watermark in Tiger history, besides being the beginning of the years of futility. If this year's team doesn't defeat a conference opponent or a Power 5 opponent, will they be regarded as the worst team in Missouri history? If they only defeat Vanderbilt, they will tie the 85 team as the worst in history. Hell of an accomplishment for a staff making $9+ million. That's from the 314.
Yeah. I mean, if your only wins are the ones you bought, there's no positive you can spin. Nothing. Abilene Christian, Louisiana Tech, and New Mexico State. Now we're going if they only win 3 games. That to me is so fireable. It's not even funny. You don't want the Scott Frost thing. You don't want to add an extra year of misery to the fan base when you know the inevitable is happening.
Yeah.
Like
to me,
at least has to be on the table.
Yeah,
at least have to talk about it.
I know you know. What about you're showing coaches but a real smart coach would look at this regime and go, I understand. They didn't show any progress. They won 3 games. They've won 3 games that they bought. They lost to Vanderbilt. Again, this is all speculative, but you can't keep them just to keep them to show your next coach that you keep guys for 4 years. That literally is insanity.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we've seen, especially with the transfer portal now, that it can be turned around quicker than that. And I don't know that you owe every coach 4 years if it's nothing but futility for 4 years.
You do not when it's stagnant and repetitive and it's the same offensive scheme. When you have better players, it gets worse. Like that to me shows much more than just coaching and recruiting. I mean, you need a change.
Guys, I recall in the Mizzou coaching search, Lane Kiffin, Mike Norvell, and Brian Harson's names were brought up. Lane Kiffin would have been nice. Thanks. That's from the bastard James Hunt. They're brought up by Missouri fans. It doesn't mean that they were interested.
You think Lane Kiffin would come to Columbia? No offense to Columbia, but Oxford is another level. Ole Miss, obviously football, that they're...
we ought to be able to play. We ought to be able to be at the level of Ole Miss.
I'm talking about fan base. You just have that electricity. Probably have boosters with deeper pockets. Potentially, I think it's probably a more fun job for a guy like that than it would be in Columbia.
I guess it probably is, but it shouldn't be. Missouri has no excuse not to be better than they are. For the size of our state, for the fact that there's really only been one big-time Division I program for years and years. The fact that St. Louis cranks out players every year, Kansas City does it as well. There's no excuse for that Missouri can't be as good as some of these other schools.
Doug, the Shrewsbury Seminary student, wants to talk about it on the Steve Schmidt Key of North County phone lines. Yes, sir.
Hello, Shrewsy. Hello. Shrewsy.
Oh, am I?
You're on.
Am I on?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I was just calling in because I could listen that way. I couldn't find it on the dial. But when I'm on hold, I can listen.
Heaven's sakes. How old's your car?
You there? Hello?
Yes, we're here. How old is your car radio? You got a new car?
Yeah, I got it in January.
It should have HD2 on there. It will have HD2 on there. 105.7.
So and it's FM?
Yes, FM. Go to 105.7, and then up somewhere on your radio, it'll say what? Digital 1, 2, or 3. And you hit 2. That's us.
Do you guys mind if I ask some questions? Okay, so you're on 105. I'm trying to get readjusted with the show. You guys started at 590. Tim, you started at 590, right?
Doug, did we start at 5? We did.
Yeah.
And then you went to 1380 on the landing?
Yeah, above a sex shop.
Yeah.
And then you went to 590 in Webster?
That's correct.
Are you doing a bit here or what?
Iggy is exhausted by the call.
Shrewsy.
And then to 920 from there?
Yeah, he's doing a Francesa bit here with.
Yeah.
Talk about Drew Brees.
Okay. 920, then back to 590, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So what happened the last time at 590? What was? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand what's happened. If this is a sore subject, I guess I won't ask.
No, it's not. No, I mean it's fine. We got a better opportunity. It's what people do in their careers. They make more money and they go other places that they like.
What happened with Plowsy though? Why'd he get furloughed?
Oh, it was called a self-furlough. I looked him inside and said, the show's better without me, boys. I'm going to take a little time off. Told management that. They were thrilled.
It was a selfless move on your part.
They said they were going to fire me anyway. I said, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
I read something happened with your Twitter picture. I read something.
Something happened with it.
I think they had the
Something
timing
happened
off.
with it. Well, you were hacked?
No, I put the clown nose on a former manager. I don't know the
yeah,
timeline.
that
I
was-
thought I was already canned, but it could have been before that. I don't know, maybe
In between
Rubble Legs.
cannons.
Yeah.
That guy's a tool.
Oh yeah. Well, it all worked out for us. We're in a great spot now with great people.
That's good. Yeah, good. Okay. All right. Jackson, is Jackson there?
Yo.
So you think if the Bucks had Middleton, they would have beat the Celtics in the semifinals?
You know, I don't like to speculate, but I mean, they went 7 games without him, and he's one of the best players in the NBA. So you never know. Celtics were hot.
They were really hot last year. All right, guys. So 105.72 on the FM. Oh, wait. I got one more question. Can I ask one more question? Sorry.
Okay.
What's the deal with Mr. Licks? You guys said something about that after my call. What's going on with him? What's his deal? What's going on there?
We don't know what's going on there. He calls just like you do. We don't know what's going on with you or with him.
All right, we'll call in, big man. Hey, I got a call coming. I got to go.
Okay. See ya. Get off this station.
Nice.
Well, just really not a popular call. Mr. Licks has his fans. I haven't seen one yet for a Shrewsbury Seminary student from the 636. Get this mother effer off the air. From Uncle Cucker. Get this clown off the phone. Is this Spready? That's from Uncle Cucker.
God, I miss Spready. I miss him.
Can this guy do his bird noise and move on? That's from the ill side. Flip Wilson says comedy is hard. Old Appleton's stepdad says bleach this loser, and Stephen Wildwood simply wrote in 3 letters. They are D, I, and E. Mr. Licks has texted in to say, Iggy, just stop. Shrewsbury Seminary student's a great caller. Anytime someone is actually being funny, you chime in and try to stop it. And are the biggest Debbie Downer. Can you stop pouting over the show not revolving around you 24/7? That's from Mr. Licks. Wow.
You found that call entertaining, did you, Licks?
Hey, Mo, get us Bryce Harper. Hey, Mo, get us Bryce Harper.
Would have been a nice addition. Would have been a great addition.
That's the same guy.
Hell yeah.
Because there's two There's a Shrewsbury seat sniffer.
Yeah, that's right.
And a butter squirrel, I think.
Yeah. We target, the HD2 signal penetrates Shrewsbury.
Yeah, inner suburbs.
So I'm sorry, Licks, if you thought that was entertaining. I probably should have laughed more. Brutal.
Get us Harper. I don't mind that.
As entertaining as you are in your calls.
Where that tushy boat? Hey.
Got a couple bangers.
Hey, those were funny. I don't know where that went.
You can compete for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Send your emails in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Doug, we got a heat wave. We got a heat wave in St. Louis.
do.
And so if you have an air conditioning problem, go to DesignAirService.com. Iggy, I see a high at 97. Tomorrow, 95. Wednesday, 94. Today. And Doug, the high on Thursday, 69.
Oh, really?
How
Yeah,
about
Friday.
that?
Friday
that's
for
more like it.
the Totem is going to be nice.
So it is, it's going to be sunny and 69 degrees on Friday, and then up to 84 on Saturday. It's all over the damn place. Point is, if you're running air conditioning problems, go to DesignAirService.com and work with the best. And the best is Seth Goldcamp and Design Air Heating and Cooling online at DesignAirService.com. Doug is a client. I'm a client. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Any QFTA questions, comments, erotic stories, send them to me at tmckernan at InsideSTL.com, TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. For QFTA, any topic is welcome, and off we go. 20% off today. 20% off today at TMASTLshop.com. We have hoodies, we have T-shirts, we have hats, and we have the golf club head covers. 20% off. You don't need a promo code. Just check out what's available at TMASTLshop.com, and you get 20% off at TMASTLshop.com. We'll close out our Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. Appliance discounters 8 o'clock hour. Next, this is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Check out listener rewards on the new TMA mobile app. Watch the show live on the TMA studio cams. Find it at TMASTL.com. Get the podcast on the TMA app. Download it now.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Hey, it's Jackson for Rosalita's. TMA listeners know that Rosalita's Cantina has the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From tableside guac to piled-high nachos, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita, and Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, and let Rosalita's cater your next event. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
Doug Vaughn here, along with the home loan expert Ryan Kelly. Ryan, the real estate world is really kind of crazy right now. How do you get through it? How does anybody figure it out?
Well, the whole world's crazy right now.
I know, seems like it.
At some level, everything just costs so much right now.
I've noticed that.
Holy cow! And gas is the obvious one, you know. In some of our markets, it's over $5.50 a gallon right now. So gas is the obvious, and groceries. I mean, heck, we used to go to the grocery store at $70, and now it's $120. Airline tickets. We wanted to go see my wife's mother, and went to buy tickets about a month ago, and it was about $198 a ticket. And we held off, and we went and looked at it just this week, and it was like $600 a ticket. Everything just costs so much right now, and it's hard to get by. We hear from clients, you know, they're waiting to get paid to pay the bills, and that's no way to live. The good news is if you're a homeowner, there's never been a better time for a cash out refinance. Mortgage rates have started to come down and your equity is at an all-time high. Our average client received over $54,000 with a simple cash out refinance. How much can you get? Let's find out today. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Maggie O'Brien's your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years. Host any size event at our downtown location. Ride our shuttle to and from concerts, Blues and Cardinals games, and make sure to grab a drink and a bite to eat before all of them. Trying to watch the big game? We have it on one of our many TVs at our Sunset Hills location. Come join the fun and see what the buzz is all about. Maggie O'Brien's, 2 great locations. Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh, just south of Watson Road. In downtown at 20th and Market Street. Union Station is next to us. Celebrate all your college and fantasy teams' Tully touchdowns this weekend with Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. May your team be swift and their aim be true. May the refs be forever in your favor and your whiskey always Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, smooth sipping Irish whiskey, made exactly for game day moments like this. When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by William Grant & Sons Incorporated, New York, New York. Please enjoy Tullamore Dew responsibly.
If you are a commercial property manager, property owner, small business owner, or are involved in operations, listen up. Engineer Design Facilities has become the #1 commercial fire alarm service provider in the market. EDF's goal is to not increase your operating budget, but rather decrease it, and at the same time service your business's commercial fire alarm needs with the most experienced and competent technicians this region has to offer. Make sure your building is up to code. Email fire@edf-rg.com to schedule your systems evaluation today. That's fire@edf-rg.com. This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago and I still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com.
Deagle Truck Center has been the St. Louis area's go-to medium-duty truck dealer since 1933. Deagle Truck Center is a union shop looking for technicians and bodymen for both their Hazelwood and St. Louis locations, offering the highest rates of pay in the area, plus benefits. An authorized Hino and Isuzu dealer, Deagle's friendly and knowledgeable staff is prepared to make sure you have the best experience. Stop by the Hazelwood location to see their large selection of pre-owned inventory. Visit DeagleTruckCenter.com to learn more. That's DEGEL truckcenter.com.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
The Classic Car Show in concert, September 25th at the Factory in Chesterfield, with performances by Jackal. When will it rain? I feel the heat burning through my shoes. And Stephen Piercy from Rat. Tickets for the concert on sale now. Got a classic car you want to show off? Vehicle registration is open now. The Classic Car Show and concert. A day of fun for the family and a night of rock.
Find out how to get tickets at thefactorystl.com. You're hearing TMA all day on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis, featuring the Ryan Kelly Morning After, live from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then a full show replay from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., followed by the best of TMA from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., and another same-day replay starting at 10 p.m. Find the full schedule at TMASTL.com. Brought to you by Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com, the most efficient mortgage process you'll ever experience. Tim, Doug, Iggy, Plowsy, Action Jackson.
The Ryan Kelly Morning After, 105.7 HD2.
Perspective. Tell me this doesn't give you perspective.
This will be playing on senior night with an interim coach.
Oh. As they come out to Faroe Field, they get their flowers. Take your rock. Now go and get. That's no way to
Did they really give you a rock?
Yeah, it's awful. They give you one of those stupid rocks that they make people sit on.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was...
I'm so anti-rock.
Those rocks are hard. I've sat on them before.
Oh,
it's no fun.
The worst.
Yeah.
Did you fashion it into a Sibian?
I did not.
It would be better if they were just the Sibians in the globe.
Right. Wouldn't that be nice if there were Sibians?
It would be unique.
You hand one to every senior.
Now that's a recruiting technique.
Guys, I literally just tuned in this morning, and the first thing I hear is Mr. Licks. This guy is one big cockroach. He won't die, and he makes everybody cringe. That's from the Worst Woods Wacko. Worst Woods Wacko, that was actually the Shrewsbury Seminary student.
Right.
Another one of our great callers.
Do we have any ladies on the line that Jackson ran into this weekend, either at Post Malone or at Washington University?
No.
Not at the moment.
Lines are
full of men.
They usually don't wake up till like 9.
Right.
They'll be calling in during Gabe.
The Colonel will be joining us, presented by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency at 9 o'clock. Your questions, comments for the Colonel, send those in 314-881-TMA5, Engineered Design Facilities, text inbox, and you're also welcome to email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And as referenced earlier, call into the Steve Schmidt Kia of North County phone line 636-9004-TMA. We are in our Appliance Discounters 8 o'clock hour. Appliance Discounters, your hometown appliance source, featuring major brands like GE. It's Appliance Discounters, sponsor of our 8 o'clock hour. If you are in the market for a new appliance, I would like to recommend Appliance Discounters. That's where we go. They are the best. It's wonderful to have them on board here on TMA. In need of an appliance right away? You won't wait weeks at Appliance Discounters. They have an 80,000 square foot warehouse filled with GE appliances along with other brands. You can't wait weeks when your refrigerator, washer, or dryer go out. So come into one of their showrooms today and they'll deliver it tomorrow. If you're building or remodeling your home and don't need your appliances right away, they can hold them for you. And remember, you can always shop online at theappliancediscounters.com. That's theappliancediscounters.com. And if you are in the mood to take the edge off early in the morning, or you want to have a plan for the coming weekend, gathering friends around to watch the Auburn game, there's a lot of common sense and Western wisdom, like don't squat with your spurs on and always drink upstream from the fan page. And there's also some Western wisdom that's less common, like never steal from a bear what you can't make for yourself, or a twink doesn't know his worth until he's eye-to-eye with a rattlesnake holding a toad. I'm sure there's a good lesson in there somewhere, but there's one lesson that's perfectly clear. Fistful of Bourbon's an award-winning blend of 5 straight bourbons and is smooth as a banker on Friday. Get wise, pick up a bottle today. Don't be a damn fool. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by William Grant & Sons, New York, New York. And think about that. What are you thinking about as you think about it?
I'm thinking just how wonderful it would be.
Doug, it was wonderful in Boone, North Carolina this weekend. They had college game day there, and then they were trailing Troy in the waning seconds, and they had to throw up the Hail Mary. Take a listen.
Okay.
We'll see. See how many Troy rushes here. They have everybody back to try to knock one down. 3-man rush. Chase going to step up in the pocket. Sets. Throws high into the air. It's up for grabs. It is juggled.
Don't you give up on these Mountaineers, baby! Yes, sir! Oh my gosh! Yes, sir!
There it is.
That is unreal. Raw
If you scream
emotion.
too much, the listener can't have any clue what's going on.
Well, they're both talking at the same time, too, but I don't think it matters.
It reminded me of the late night score just for a moment.
That was Appalachian State scoring on the Hail Mary to win.
Do you say Appalachian? You say Appalachian. Go.
I don't know. I usually say Appalachian.
When you're driving through the mountains, you say, "Oh, we're in the Appalachian Mountains."
Right.
But when you're watching them play, it's Appalachian State. I don't understand it.
I don't get it. No.
If you are talking about the St. Louis Cardinals and you're typing it up for a font on your sportscast tonight, because I know you're back.
I'm not back tonight.
It would be ST period LOUIS.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the St. Louis University Billikens, it's SAINT.
Why is that?
You don't have an answer. I'm just telling you what's going on.
I know. The Billikens want to be a little bit more formal.
Is that what it is?
I guess. Why else would you do it?
That university looks so freaking cool, too. I mean,
St. Louis U?
No.
Oh,
it is. St. Louis
Appalachian.
U is fantastic, but Appalachian State, have you seen their baseball
Yes,
stadium and
yes.
all that?
Uh-huh.
It just is such a beautiful area of the country, man, and that is cool to see. I watched that highlight, and I was hoping that there would be a nice call like that, and that was beautiful.
Yeah, Appalachian Trail, like 800 miles long.
I don't know the exact mileage on the Appalachian Trail, but
we're supposed to talk about it on Balloon Party at 10:30.
Oh, okay. I'll listen
Don't
to
they
that.
hate? Don't they hate Drinkwitz there too?
Really?
I don't know.
Well, because I think he came out and said he was staying when then he left. I'm pretty sure that they're not fans of his. I could be wrong, but what a great year nonetheless. They beat Texas A&M, correct?
Yeah.
And they really should have beaten North Carolina.
Yeah.
They'd be 3-0 and top 10.
They got like $1.5 million to go down and beat Texas A&M.
The Appalachian Trail is 2,000 miles.
How about that, Doug?
1,000.
Well, that just ruined the big balloon party tease. Let's to come up with something else.
How does that go through, like 20 states?
Mr. Fix is on the line, Doug? Is that Mr. Licks?
No, it's Mr. Fix.
Mr. Fix.
Okay.
Okay, this is Mr. Fix.
Hello, Fixie.
Steve Schmidt, North County Bowling.
Fixie?
Yeah, you can call me Fixie if you like.
Okay.
That's cool.
Great. Well.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Welcome to my phone call. How's it going?
It's going great so far. How are you?
This is awesome.
It's the best day of my life. Thanks for asking, but
Well, why
it's
do you
a dead
say
heat with
that?
yesterday.
Why do you say that?
Every day I wake up, Mr. Vaughn, is the best day of my life. I mean, you with a positive, rosy outlook.
Right.
Could agree with that.
Sure, yeah.
I just met one of your old
Breath of fresh
camera
air.
operators. Told me wonderful things about you. A gentleman named Gary Newman. Newsy, we call him.
Oh, Newsy? Oh, yeah. Well, I try to do wonderful things.
He
I don't know how often
he
I
had nothing but delightful things to say about you, Mr. Vaughn. So,
great.
Yeah, that's always good to hear. So I just want to address the whole Mr. Licks situation here. If he's even credible enough to be considered a situation.
Well, he's probably listening, so go ahead. Let him have it.
Oh, you know he's listening, 100%. So, yeah, Jackson asked me if I was going to fire some shots, and 100% I will. We're going to go to the Pepperoncini thing, because that's my biggest beef with this guy.
No.
Yep. Pepperoncini's fantastic.
Nice.
Oh,
it's just
an award-winning podcast.
It's just two guys, one who's baked out of his mind, and one who has seen and done a lot of things, albeit, a little older, not as attractive. Not that has anything to do with radio. I take shots at everybody, guys, including Tim McKernan. I love when he gets focused on Missouri football specifically. He's very passionate about that, which I'm sure really keeps people tuned in. Those are the times when I sort of cycle off when you guys are actually talking about sports. So,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to address Pepperoncini again. Like I said, bravo, guys. Keep up the good work. I enjoy it thoroughly.
Nice.
I think what Mr. Licks, I think he's just hater, dude. He wishes he had a podcast because he fashions himself dry, sort of funny. He has this sort of monotone delivery and, says these sort of non sequitur sort of statements to kind of make himself seem a little more mature, what have you. The jig is up, Licks.
Oh.
So this is coming from someone who is, I don't need to humble brag like Mr. Licks. I own my own business, and I am thinking about sponsoring the Log Yule because I notice you guys don't have a sponsor. So what's the situation there? Who can't sell that?
Well, I don't know. It's wide open at the moment.
He does take shots at everybody.
Mark Milton did sponsor it. Now he's gone into a full-time sponsor mode. So, yeah, the suspension Log Yule is wide open.
Yeah, no, I Kiowski, crack the whip, dude. What's going on here? We got to get that thing sponsored. So my uncle, St. Gabriel enthusiast and alum, lives over on Winona Avenue, humble brag, right near the park. But, yeah, he knows Timothy Sr., Timothy Jr., and he was thinking that I might be able to get on the Log Yule at maybe the old St. Gabriel rate, if you know what I mean.
The St. Gabe rate, what is that, nothing? Free?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that would be where your father pays for everything. But, yeah, so...
Nice. Doesn't pay for the parking lot.
I told you guys, shots at everybody. Shots at everybody. I don't care. I love you all, though. God bless you. I listen every single day religiously, and I don't act like I hate it like everyone else.
Well, thank you.
I do actually love you guys. So I do have to run, like I said, humble brag, own my own business, think about sponsoring the Log Yule. But this is Mr. Fix.
Okay.
And I'll come at you harder, Mr. Licks, next time. But thanks for talking, guys. I'm glad you got to hear my voice.
All right. Thank you, Fixie.
I love it, and I know the text line. I need to hear the text.
Sure, no problem. There's a lot of feedback coming in. This guy really thinks highly of himself. F you.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
This guy sucks. That's from Jervis Parish. What is this? Is this real? Comedy is super hard. Die. Die, fella, die.
That's pretty extreme.
This is the worst call I've ever heard. And I really hope the mob fixes you and you go straight to hell to burn forever. That's from the Shrewsbury Seat Sniffer. I am going to start hurting myself after listening to that. That's from the Kansas City Gray Sexual. Hey, why don't you go jump off of a bridge? That's from King Fupa.
Oh, no.
WTF is this? Blowtorch this twink from mouth to anus. Licks owns this bitch. That's from Joan Jett's groping hand. This is literally the worst call of all time. Ship this guy off to Canada. Congrats nonetheless on owning your own Orange Theory franchise. Doug, that's from glove blogger Tom Draven. That's correct.
Hey, humble bragged about his business, but never let anybody know what it was.
A smart move on his part not to reveal.
Brian Henshin is a show ombudsman, and he says, this guy sucks. Sit on a samurai sword and then go F yourself. It's from Brian Henshin, who covers the Colts.
What hurt?
Guys, just have Iggy take that lighter that he uses to set himself on fire for attention with and have him burn the phone lines. That's some Carlos Spice-o here.
Well, it's not for attention. Doug did it off camera.
I took a picture of Iggy who was asleep during the phone call. He put his head down.
It's just another one that's just trying to be funny.
Well, but you can't let it put you right to sleep.
Well, it did. I don't know what to
The
tell you.
text line really enjoyed it. I'm glad.
Perhaps one of the largest onslaughts of text the show has ever received was because of that phone call.
I had a feeling when it was going on that it
Well,
was.
you give yourself a name, too. Mr. Fix. Just say, Steve. Hi, it's Bob.
The listeners just sit there at the
Mr.
computer
Fix,
with their hands
Mr.
on the
Fix.
home row. Whenever anyone calls, they come up with the worst insult they can.
They just watch Abilene Christian. They were ready to just pounce on anything, and
They're
that guy.
fed up.
I like Mr. Fix though. If he's a sponsor, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Regardless, that
Spend
was
some
a
money, we'd
brutal
love you.
call.
If you don't spend any money, the call sucked.
He needs a this and brutal shirt.
Doug, Marco Bertarelli does sponsor, and he sponsors the Cuts
sure.
of the Week, and he sponsored the show since 2007. What's the deal with Marco Bertarelli? Tell me about his
Has he ever
business.
called in? I don't recall that we've ever had him.
I don't think so.
Caller.
No, he actually has a real job where he's busy.
He does. He does have a real job. He is the gold standard when it comes to getting your knife sharpened. The locally owned and operated, family-owned and operated business on the Hill, where you can get your nitrile gloves, too. The price of gloves has skyrocketed over the past few years, and if you've been following the famous glove blogger, Tom Traven, as you should be, you know the need and demand for nitrile gloves has returned in a big way. Everybody's using them. These are the gloves you want if you have a latex allergy, or maybe you're working in the medical field and need to touch a patient in his bathing suit area. Bertarelli has purchased truckloads of these gloves. They buy in bulk and then pass the savings right along to you. Draven says these gloves are hard to find because of current conditions, and with COVID still out there, they've got them in big numbers in Bertarelli. If you or your company need nitrile gloves, Bertarelli is your place to go. And if you are somebody who knows what it means to work hard, you'll appreciate Bertarelli for their ability to sharpen up your tools. Chainsaw, axe, knife, lawnmower blades, you name it. You bring those blades to Bertarelli Cutlery, and they'll make those tools work like they did 20 years ago. They also repair and maintain slicers. If you have a commercial-grade slicer that needs work, Bertarelli can handle that. They'll have you slice them like the Dickens. Bertarelli Cutlery, 1927 Marconi Avenue on the Hill. The website is bertarellico.com.
There it is, and we are in the Michelob Ultra Studios. Michelob Ultra sponsor the Lemmings Open coming up this Friday at Normandy. Big doings, donut drive-in, providing the delicious treats for breakfast. Potbelly providing delicious sandwiches.
Don't sleep on that.
Yeah, Doug, don't sleep on that. I mean, we got a feast.
Potbelly,
I mean, it could be a 5,000 calorie day at the ballpark.
Yeah,
could be a 5,000 calorie day. At the
we had that when we signed our contract.
That's correct.
Had a great sandwich.
That's right.
there.
You guys signed right there at the Potbelly. I remember that. And then also Uncle Leo's afterwards for dinner. That is coming up this Friday at Normandy Golf Course. It's all presented by Michelob Ultra, studio sponsor here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. And I've got it at 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's right there in studio here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Iggy, can you tell the people about Blue Chew?
Oh, of course. You know, I talked to two guys this weekend. I actually saw two at the ballpark that wanted pictures.
And Blue Chew came out?
And one of the guys said, Iggy, I tried the Blue Chew. It worked. I said, of course it worked. Yeah, and guess what? You didn't pay an astronomical fee. Blue Chew is a tablet, so you can chew it. Same active ingredients as Cialis and Viagra at a fraction of the cost. And guess what the cost is?
Zero?
$5 for shipping and handling.
What? Boy, that's not much.
Yes, your first order's free. So don't go home and the wife wants sex and you can't give it to her because you can't get hard. And then you're embarrassed. And I'm not going to a doctor. I'm not going to let them look.
This
you
is
don't
where
have
we're
to
going to scold the listeners.
Yes, you don't have to go to a doctor. You do it all online. You talk to a medical professional, and they will prescribe the right chewable tablet for you. There's different varyings. You know, you may just say, I can only get this halfway hard. There's varying degrees.
This is the soft cow bullet
soft
point
cow,
in the
yeah.
live read.
Soft cow. So you talk to a medical professional, and within days, your chewable tablets are delivered to you free of charge, $5 shipping and handling. Go to BlueChew.com and just type in TMA when you check out. Guess what? First order free. That's all it is. You want a stiffy and a jiffy? BlueChew.com, TMA. First order free, $5 shipping and handling. You will thank me. Your significant other will thank you. And I have a new motto. I have a new,
Doug,
a new tag. I came up with this one.
Okay.
Chew it and do it.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. Doug, this could turn into a national campaign.
Chew it and do it.
Sweet.
Stiffy and a jiffy. You know, if you don't have a boner, guess what? You're a loner.
Soft cow bomb.
You might be right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you can't get a boner, there's nobody going out with you. You're not going to get anybody. So, BlueChew.com, TMA.
What do you think is worse to have? The inability to get hard or a microween?
Oh, microwave.
Microwave.
Yeah,
That's fix the other thing.
Yeah, the inability to get hard is just Blue Chew takes care of that. You get a microwave, there's nobody fixing that.
Well, let's say that nothing can fix it and you're just limp as the day is long.
Well, I'd rather be limp than have nothing.
Yeah.
Because even if you get hard with a microwave and you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, you kind of be like nervous to go at a urinal in the public with a microwave.
In case fellas are trying to check you out.
Yeah, well, in case anything happened, yeah.
Oh, there's always.
What do you mean in case anything happens? What happens when you go to the urinal?
Well, I don't know. Like an earthquake and you're stuck with your pants down and everyone's like, oh my God, an earthquake. Wait, why does that guy have a microwave?
I don't think so. You're worried about bricks falling on your head.
If you're next to somebody in a urinal, do you purposely just make sure there's no way I'm looking, or every once in a while you take a peek?
I'm always peeking.
Depends who's next to you.
Don't take a peek. You look down, you mind your own business, and you move right along.
Yeah, I think there's some guys that try to peek.
But like, if there was someone who like famously had a large ween, like like Pete Davidson, who's been called having BDE. Like
he's going in a stall. There's no way he's going to let anybody see it.
Really?
Because of that reason, Jackson.
Yeah. Maybe. But I think if that's the case, then maybe you're like, well, let me feast my own eyes upon it.
I like that too.
Feast my eyes upon the man's ween.
No thanks.
Yeah, I think the microwave would be a bad beat.
Yeah. I'd say so.
All right. No pill for that, Doug. No. Blue Chew for any other issues. Send your email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design, air, heating, and cooling email of the day coming your way. Here, what about an hour? Colonel coming up at about 9 o'clock on the Ryan Kelly morning after. Get involved on the radio program by texting in 314-881-TMA5 and get your TMA merch, your This Is Brutal t-shirt, This Is Brutal hoodie, your Cardinal hoodies, your Cardinal t-shirts at TMASTLshop.com. 20% off today. 20% off today at TMASTLshop.com. So a big sale today. Guys, I was at the Pearl Jam concert, and there was a lot of peeking at the urinals last night. It was really odd. That's from the Orson Woods Wacko.
I don't think there was peeking.
Oh. Wonder what that was about.
So Post Malone was Friday and Pearl Jam was Saturday?
Post Malone Saturday?
Yeah.
Pearl Jam Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a lot of people at Pearl Jam. Well, it's sold out probably, but God, those tickets were too expensive for me.
How much?
Well, some people got them on a secondary market for, $150, $200, but the rafters are going for like $800.
Oh.
I mean, I like Pearl Jam, but I'm not paying that kind of money to go see them.
No.
Yeah, it was expensive. They had a great poster, too, that I would love to get. I don't know if they're selling them online. It was like I don't know, if it may have been Stan Musial, the picture they used, but then they put a cardinal bird over his face. Then it just said Pearl Jam, St. Louis, Missouri, and the date on it. It's kind of cool looking. But somebody told me they got there at 9 o'clock in the morning to get to the merch tent, and there was like line out the door at the merch tent.
At 9 in the morning?
At 9 in the morning. It's like Bobblehead Day.
Yeah.
Only, like, probably a T-shirt from a concert is actually, like, you'd use.
Yeah, I collect old concert shirts.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Oh, yeah, Rolling Stones, Rory Gallagher, AC/DC, just a bunch of them.
Do you ever wear them?
Not really. I just have them.
Okay.
And if I'm out and about every once in a while, CD Warehouse will get a bunch of old concert shirts in. So I'll buy a few. But, like, if I go to concerts, I try to. But there's Pitbull is like $50 for a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I ain't paying $50 for a T-shirt.
Yeah. Go on.
What?
Jackson, the podcast went up real quick, fast, in a hurry, I see. I just got a little notification.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been going up way faster. So shout out to Hubbard IT for helping us out with that.
Amen. Let's see. I saw Mr. Licks out front at the Pearl Jam concert. He was selling water bottles and holding a cardboard sign that said, "I'm a loser, please help." It's from the Orson Woods Wacko. Nice humble brag woodsman. That's from the Birthday Hawk. I always tinkle in the stall. Nothing worse than stepping in a brine puddle or getting your shoes splashed by another gentleman's warm release. It's from the Crestwood Coyote.
Yeah.
I was at the Pearl Jam concert and can confirm there was a lot of ween peeking done by myself. That's from former fan page moderator Neil Allen Craig Paquette. And Los Lonely Boys has written in to say, ask Iggy to name 5 Pearl Jam songs. Iggy,
I've said I'm not a huge Pearl Jam fan. I like their music, but I'm not a huge fan. That's why I wouldn't pay that kind of money to go see them.
I hate that move.
You can like somebody's music, but I just
name me
without
5 songs right now.
Without
you
naming
think
every
you're
song.
A fan? Name the lineup in the 80s. Can't do it, can you? I hate those types of people. Are annoying as hell. Name me 5 songs. Who cares? If you enjoy the music, you don't need to cling on to song names and stuff. It doesn't matter.
And you can even enjoy the song and not know what the song's name is.
Yeah, I know more names of songs that I hate than I do that I enjoy because you remember things that you never want to listen to again.
No, I'm not looking up titles. So if you see me on my phone, always looking up titles. No, I don't care. I can't name 5 songs.
No, you don't care.
Okay, then name me 10 songs. You name 5, now name 10. You said you're a real fan. And it never stops. You can name 10 and name me all the lead singer at their birthdays. No, you don't even know it. You suck.
Like last week, I was on my way home. And I'm a big Paramore fan. I'm looking forward to seeing them in October.
Is that Haley Williams?
Haley Williams.
Name 50 Paramore
songs. No, this proves my point, that I'm a big fan of theirs. But Donnie Fandango played a song the other day by them, and I said, God, what is the name of this song? I can't think of it. So I DM'd him. I said, what is the Paramore song you just played? And then it came to me.
What was it?
God, now I can't think of it.
Now it's gone again.
Pretend like airplanes in the night sky, like
something.
shooting
It's
stars.
almost like a,
You hear Jackson
like a
right
rap.
there, Doug? That was nice.
Part of that Joe Burrow swagger.
Something business. I can't think of the first one. Well, that's just it. I love their music, but I can't think of a lot of their songs.
Is it Monkey Business, that Paramore song?
No. The video's great where there's some bully girl at school that's just bullying everybody, and then at the end, Haley Williams comes and puts her hands down her dress and takes out her falsies to get back at her.
Sounds like a great video.
But it's more of it's like, I don't know how she sings that. There's so many words in that song. I'm serious, that it's almost like a rap. And to get on stage and do that, that's going to be tough.
I would think.
But I can't think of the name of the song. Something Business.
Misery Business?
Misery Business, that's it. Great song. But I couldn't think of the name of it. Love the song, couldn't think of the name of the song.
For us?
No, I played it Friday for Lisa Ann, actually. That's the song I played Friday when she came.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know all the words to songs and all the titles to songs. I know what bands I like. I can't name 5 songs. Well, then you don't like Pearl Jam. Not a huge fan. Can't understand half the stuff Eddie Vedder's saying. Ask me, I'm here. What?
That's the song?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
$800 for a ticket. They were after.
They put on a good show, though.
50 for a shirt. You can get out of there for under $1,000, Doug.
He's probably top 10 frontman of all time, I would guess.
Doug, will you put him in your top 10?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll do that on the fan page this week. Top 10 frontman.
You know how they like it.
And I'll just release it all tomorrow.
I have a feeling nobody's going to comment because everybody who comments is blocked.
No,
it's like you may have a better time this time than the porn star reveal.
Do it on Pepper and Gene.
Pepper and Gene.
May come.
Yeah, tomorrow, Plawsy, come up with your top 5 frontmen, and I'll do my top 5.
Okay.
Wouldn't it just be the lead singer?
What about top 5 bottoms?
And it can be it can be a girl too. It can be a female singer.
Would Don Henley be the frontman of Eagles, even though he was a drummer?
I really don't think they have a frontman.
Doug, would you say it's Glenn Frey?
I don't know.
See, I got Maynard from Tool really high up there.
I'll save it for tomorrow.
What is the point of all of this rambling? Cut him off, Tim. Please, for the love of God, make him stop. That's from Harrison's brother, Matt.
A texter brought it up. I was just replying to a texter that says I can't name 5 songs, and you're right, I can't. So I guess I can't like Pearl Jam.
Guys, I feel like Ken talks, trying to tie a story to anything relating to what the Deus was talking about. That's from the Hillsider.
And you even pay attention to the show?
Okay.
Can we get back to Mizzou talk? So the Ashley Sweet Potato Quid's just rambling. It's from the old Appleton stepdad.
Well, then quit texting in things about me, then I'll stop talking about it.
I did one text about Pearl Jam turn into 6 straight minutes of rambling by the Cracked Boot. That's from Tervis Parrish.
Craft Boot?
Cracked.
Well, we got a topic for Pepperoncini out of it.
Yeah, I count that as a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got embedded Monday House of the Dragon topic today. So
Oh, nice. You guys watch last night?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
So you're really on board?
I love it.
Really?
I'm still waiting.
Maybe I'll get into it.
I'm still waiting for a good episode.
Oh, so you really are against it, Doug.
Yeah.
That's why Pepperoncini's so wonderful. It's like Siskel and Ebert.
Well, when we talk
Race
about
debate.
House of the Dragons, he goes from Genie to Gene.
Well, I guess last night they considered that their red wedding.
I haven't got there yet. Please don't spoil
No, I won't.
No, I'm not going to spoil
But
it.
if you listen to the podcast, you will be spoiled.
Well, you just said red wedding. That gives me an idea.
It's not even close, Jackson. I
All right,
assure you
all right,
that.
all right.
Yeah, not even
promise.
close. I was being sarcastic.
Okay, all right. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
cool story. Move on. 5 minutes in a band, no one gives a crap about. That's from Beer Cats.
Ooh, and that's not who we wanted to hear from today.
We want to hear stories that end with Damien.
It's still, I don't know.
I'd like to hear that again, please.
Yeah, I
Tom.
got you, dog. I don't know how they came up. I know we were
Yeah.
talking about
An exorcist.
I'd like to hear it.
See, it takes
Damien. We were talking about the real-life exorcism, which I guess took place in St. Louis.
Yes.
I don't believe those words were uttered to Father whoever it was.
Damien. It just really is well delivered.
It really is.
Doug, we've got fun with headlines. Here it is. Aaron Boone fires back at Jordan Montgomery is the title of the article. Pitching for Cardinals, quote, different animal. The story written by Max Wiseman in the New York Post yesterday. And again, the title in the New York Post, Aaron Boone fires back at Jordan Montgomery. Everybody goes a-clicking, and then we go a-reading. Since the Yankees traded starting pitcher Jordan Montgomery to the Cardinals at this year's trade deadline, he's posted a 5-1 record and a 2.05 ERA. With the Yankees, he was 3-3 with a 3.69 ERA. Montgomery went at New York over how they used him, especially over his four-seam fastball, the pitch that's transformed his season in St. Louis. Quote, I didn't really have much faith in my heater at the Yankees. I had been told that I wasn't good compared to my other pitches, and if I was going to get hit, I was going to be on a curveball or changeup, which isn't how you can pitch. On a Thursday appearance on the Michael Kay Show, Yankee manager Aaron Boone said he thought Montgomery's criticism of the Yankees has been unfair. Monty's been a really good pitcher for us, and he's gone there, and he's had a good start to his Cardinal career. Pitching in a large ballpark in the National League Central, frankly, it's a different animal than pitching in the American League East. I always liked when Monty threw his heater. When I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, okay. Monty was an excellent pitcher for us. I hope he continues to do well. I do wish him very well, especially in the National League. Doug, how about that?
He really fired back at him. Those are venomous words. How dare he?
What an industry.
Fires back. He complimented him. Everything he said was true, right?
Yeah, I mean, pitching in the National League Central is different than any other division in baseball, including the butt-ass that is the American League Central. Yeah. If you're the Cardinals, you have one team in the National League Central you had to worry about, and you knew it going into the year. You have the Cubs and the Reds and the Pirates, and you get to play them 18 times. And it is a bigger ballpark than Yankee Stadium.
Uh-huh.
And then he wished him well, and he was surprised to hear him say he didn't get to use his fastball in New York. But he wished him well.
What a dick Boone is. Leave him alone. That's just, even the Post is now going to whatever. If you scroll down, you see, this actor was making $4 million on a sitcom. Now he's selling peanut butter on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I wonder who that is.
And you
there's
try
nothing.
to read it as ad.
Oh, the Post paywalled me today.
What?
New York Post paywall.
Oh, really? I actually subscribed to it.
About sport, like this, any sports article, they limit you now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you have to subscribe to their Post Sports Plus thing. So they give you like 3 free articles a month or something. You can, like, all their other stuff you can get, but, like, anything with sports. And that's where Heyman is, right? And Marchand. So those are two guys we like.
Did Doug Vaughn have a pant malfunction this morning? Click, click, click. No, he didn't.
I'm going to call in from Fayetteville. I've had enough of the rotten pumpkin. That's from the 314. What does that mean? Somebody letting us know that they're calling in from Fayetteville? Doug, is that Arkansas?
Yeah.
Home of Sammy Pittman?
I believe that's the only Fayetteville.
Yeah. Call it with another bit.
Yeah, people are doing sketches and bits.
And they're going to come after the rotted pumpkin?
I wonder who that is.
Do these names ever bother you? Are they hurtful?
No.
Okay, that's good.
If you called me a name, I might.
Well, I don't try to call you names.
But these people know.
There you go.
Be no fish for you on Thursdays.
Yeah, I got to keep the fish coming. I ate that shrimp all weekend.
Well, how was it after you took it home a day late and put ice on top of it?
Fine.
Pete Alonso was charging the mound again yesterday, Doug. He's doing that now. He had the issue in St. Louis earlier in the year, and Stubby Clapp got him.
Yeah.
After the Pirates hit the Mets with 4 pitches Saturday night, an early and familiar plunking on Sunday cleared the benches. It was a former Cardinal, Yohan Oviedo. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball ran in and hit Pete Alonso on the left arm. And Alonso stared him down as he started to walk to first base before jawing at the young right-hander. Get the ball in the zone, Alonso said of his message to Oviedo.
Oh.
I mean, he throws hard, and it's unsafe throwing that hard and not knowing where it's going. That led the benches and bullpens clearing. The no punches were thrown. Jeff McNeil had to hold back Alonso. So that's a theme continuing for Pete Alonso. He's going on the
Mets have been hit a lot.
They have a lot. They have it 4 times on Saturday night.
Yeah. Remember early in the season, they had a couple guys hurt because they were getting hit so much. I don't know what that's about. It's just a coincidence, or people hate the Mets. I would think it's probably just a coincidence. I don't think anybody's throwing at them.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets.
You guys ever get hit somewhere with a really good fastball?
No, I was on the bench eating gobstoppers.
Oh.
I stopped playing after the 6th grade.
Yeah, I stopped playing after like 7th grade. I was like, this sport sucks, man.
The only one that I can remember was in the funny bone. There's nothing funny about that.
Nice.
God, it hurts. I don't know why they call it a
Freeze like a can.
Tight 5.
Freeze like a can.
What's that got to do with what I just said?
It doesn't.
I didn't mumble that. Yeah, it's called a funny bone, but it's nothing funny about it. When you get hit, it hurts.
That's like That's like the cupcake news open. There's nothing sweet about this forum.
A sugar magnate.
Doug, your updated odds. The Cardinals are plus 650 to win the National League. That means you bet 100 you would win 650. The Dodgers are plus 130. Mets plus 300. Braves plus 350. And then you go into the longer shots. The Padres 1,300. Phillies 1,600, Brewers 2,800. World Series, Cardinals are plus 1,200, and the Dodgers are plus 300. Astros plus 350, Yankees plus 500, Mets plus 550, Braves plus 800.
Yeah, that Phillies is a value there.
You like the Phillies as a value play?
Yeah, in terms of if you want to make a ton of money, I mean, I doubt they win the National League, but Aaron Nola is a great pitcher. You got some bats there, so... You know, it'd be a shocker, but that's, what were they, plus 1,600? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Only for the fact that nobody ever repeats. I'd probably go with the Astros plus 350.
That's pretty good, too.
The Dodgers are one of the best teams to come along ever.
Ever.
Yeah, this is a historically good team.
Yeah, agreed.
With a plus-minus differential.
With injuries, too.
A plus 329 run differential.
Like, this season with them and Aaron Judge, like... If this was 25 years ago, these storylines would be everywhere. I don't know why baseball takes a back seat. You go to ESPN, and you got to really sift through to find baseball.
Oh, yeah. On their app, the lead story is a women's basketball playoff.
Yeah, so you can't, like, even find this information. And, yeah, Aaron Judge having a phenomenal year, too. The Yankees itself are, you know, that tank mode. Baseball just gets zero pub.
ESPN is more of an activist now than a purveyor
it's
of
tough
sports information.
It's not easy
Miraculous.
to navigate through their website either.
It's 9 o'clock, and the Colonel's going to join us. He's going to talk it over with the Plowhawk about Missouri football. Your questions, comments for Gabe, 314-881-TMA5. He's presented by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. It comes up in the Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour. And then at 9:45, Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Send yours in for our email of the day. Don't forget, J.J. Twiggs, Southampton, the Southampton location only, is having a big, big Friday night is pizza night deal for you this week. J.J. Twiggs, Southampton, 20% off your order when you let them know you are a TMA listener. J.J. Twiggs, Southampton. That's our Friday night is pizza night partner for the week. 20% off everything at TMASTLshop.com. And you tell them you're a TMA listener. It's Stratum Structural Systems. You can get $100 off your repair project. Stratum Structural Systems, waterproofing and foundation repair. Think local, think Stratum. StratumRepair.com. 314-620-8153. Matt Ford and Brett Groman, known for their integrity and authority with over 5 decades of combined structural experience in basement waterproofing and foundation repair. They have hundreds of reviews with a 5-star rating on Google, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Facebook, and the Better Business Bureau. And I have been a client as well. 2 separate occasions they have saved the day for me. They are in Chesterfield, Missouri, and Columbia, Illinois. Let them know you're a TMA listener, and you get $100 off your repair project. 314-620-8153. It's Stratum Structural Systems online at stratumrepair.com. All right, we'll take a commercial break. The Colonel joins us next here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Hey, it's Jackson from Mark Hanna. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, saving for retirement and college while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Whether you're like me and starting your financial planning, or if you're already retired, call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a strategy to do your finances right. It's a straightforward approach that starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors and insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago and they still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com. Hey, this is Tim McKernan for Design Air Heating and Cooling. I am a very happy client. Design Air Heating and Cooling and Seth Goldcamp and his incredible staff, which you can find online at designairservice.com. Just go to the website, click on the Book Now tab, and any issues you may be having with your HVAC system, they will take care of immediately. The customer service, second to none. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com.
Deagle Truck Center has been the St. Louis area's go-to medium-duty truck dealer since 1933. Deagle Truck Center is a union shop looking for technicians and bodymen for both their Hazelwood and St. Louis locations, offering the highest rates of pay in the area, plus benefits. An authorized Hino and Isuzu dealer, Deagle's friendly and knowledgeable staff is prepared to make sure you have the best experience. Stop by the Hazelwood location to see their large selection of pre-owned inventory. Visit DeagleTruckCenter.com to learn more. That's DEGEL truckcenter.com.
The Classic Car Show and Concert, September 25th at the Factory in Chesterfield, with performances by Jackal. When will it rain? I feel the heat burning through my shoes. And Stephen Piercy from Rat. Tickets for the concert on sale now. Got a classic car you want to show off? Vehicle registration is open now. The Classic Car Show and Concert. A day of fun for the family and a night of rock.
Find out how to get tickets at thefactorystl.com.
Yes, I am back. Blue Chew is back. And you boys need help. I know you do. So I am back telling you, go get it this time. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at the fraction of a cost. Blue Chew tablets will help you with all forms of ED and provide a harder, longer-lasting erection, which I know you guys need. And Blue Chew is an online prescription service, which means no awkward doctor visits or waiting in line at the pharmacy. Process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. And Blue Chew licensed medical providers are always there to answer any questions you may have. And here's a special just for you TMA listeners. Try Blue Chew for free. That's right. Go to BlueChew.com and enter the promo code TMA and check out and pay just $5 for shipping. You need a stiffy and a jiffy. Go get Blue Chew. You will thank me. Your significant other will thank you. BlueChew.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. Ask yourself, what is my provider doing for me? Do I have to hit prompts? Do I have to deal with chatbots? Am I put on hold? Is it always a different person? Are they local? Are they proactive in the community? Do they represent the #1 provider of auto and home insurance in the U.S.? The James Carlton State Farm team is comprised of individuals right here in your neighborhood. We are out supporting our Blues, Cardinals, Bills, and Tigers. Do something new in 22 and kick the out-of-town companies to the curb. Give us a call or go online to carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
Maggie O'Brien's your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years. Host any size event at our downtown location. Ride our shuttle to and from concerts, Blues and Cardinals games, and make sure to grab a drink and a bite to eat before all of them. Trying to watch the big game? We have it on one of our many TVs at our Sunset Hills location. Come join the fun and see what the buzz is all about. Maggie O'Brien's, 2 great locations. Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh, just south of Watson Road. In downtown at 20th and Market Street. Union Station is next to us.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm here with Ryan Kelly, the HomeLoanExpert.com, and you are always looking for a way to help people out, and the Hero Loan VA is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. That's how we get back to our military and to their families. We close VA loans 21 days or less. Heck, I'd like to tell you 14 because we're doing them in 14 and less, but I can guarantee that 21 days or less on a VA loan. And you can buy a house with no money down. You can refinance and cash out up to 100% of your appraised value. Truly is one of the best programs out there. Get the loan that you deserve today at HeroLoan.com, the only way to VA.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's sports talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
I like the Transformer scene.
We're late for the Colonel, and I'm sure he isn't enjoying as much as we are because we're children. Welcome back. It's Ryan Kelly Morning After. Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour. Gabriel P.D. Armand of PowerMizzou.com with us here on the program. Good morning, Colonel.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Wonderful. I read 10 things. 10 thoughts on 10 thoughts for a Monday morning. I was enjoying that this morning. And you were putting in perspective why there is additional concern and perhaps disappointment from the win on Saturday that Missouri has historically beaten the hell out of the FCS schools. Colonel, what stands out to you most from Saturday?
The offense is not very good because the offensive line is not very good. But they can't run the ball. And the numbers look decent. I mean, I know they had 3-something against Louisiana Tech, but even coming out of that game, Eli Drinkwitz said, I thought the running backs did a lot on their own. On Saturday, they had 195, but a lot of that was kind of garbage time yards. Brady Cook ran for 42 of that on 6 carries. Outside of Brady, they averaged, I think, less than 4 yards a carry against a team that you should just be able to line up and shove around. They had 5 holding calls on the line. It's just I don't even know if what you have on the rest of the offense matters when the offensive line doesn't work. And Eli Drinkwitz said after the game they got to figure out who their best 5 are. But that means one of 2 things. Either somehow the best 5 haven't been playing and there are guys, that are that need to be in the lineup that aren't, or these are the best 5. And I don't really know which of those would be a bigger concern.
Yeah, an offensive line situation to me is different than a play calling situation because I don't know how you fix an offensive line over the course of a season.
Right, because you can't. There's no trade deadline. You can't go. I mean, I know there is the transfer portal, and I don't know the way college football is going. I guess it's not impossible. They could just get 3 transfers, and they would suddenly be able to play next week. But seems unlikely. And look, it's the one position where the recruiting has probably been not as good as a lot of the others. I mean, they're starting to. Connor Wood came from FCS. I always forget if it's Montana or Montana State, but one of those schools. They've got some underrated kids. I mean, and that's worked for Missouri at times in the past. Don't get me wrong, Mitch Morse, Curtis Gregory, Tim Barnes. These guys were not elite level recruits necessarily, and they turned into really good players. Justin Britt, NFL offensive lineman. But if you're not going to recruit 4 and 5 stars, then you do have to have those guys that are a little more under the radar overachieve, and that hasn't really happened so far.
I'm still holding out hope that maybe things will click together for Brady Cook and the offensive line will come together, and the team is a lot better than it showed in the first 3 weeks. Am I just dreaming there? Is it not possible that they're better than what we've seen?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if you go back to the one everybody wants to point to is 2014. Missouri started that year with a pretty lackluster win over South Dakota State. They lost in week 4 at home to Indiana, and everybody ended the season. And that's part of what I wrote on Saturday is you just can't do that. You don't deliver the verdict before the closing arguments. We're a quarter of the way through the season, so I'm not going to bury this team yet. But the evidence that we have so far is not very convincing in Missouri's favor. Right? They need to, starting this Saturday, put some better evidence on the table.
Gabe DeArmond brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, both here on TMA on Mondays and on 101 ESPN on Fridays. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. He is my insurance agent, and I would like to recommend him to our audience as well. Make the switch. They do all the paperwork for you. Call right now. There is somebody in the Webster Groves office who will take care of you immediately. It's James Carlton. For home, for life, for auto, 314-961-4800 or online at carltoninsurance.net. Colonel, the thing that's a bit enamoring here is you have 2 programs that I would imagine the fan bases are not particularly high on. And with Brian Harsin, his stock was low on the Plains already. Eli Drinkwitz's has dropped precipitously over the last 10 days. I think if Missouri beats Auburn Saturday, they take out another SEC coach. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think Carson's getting fired at some point this year, at the end of the year anyway. I don't see any way his team's good enough to save his job. And whether, it could, if Missouri wins Saturday, it could happen Sunday morning. I mean, I don't think that's out of the question. Would that be, I was talking to somebody yesterday, the whole idea of, hey, we got your coach fired, like, fan bases brag about that, but I don't really think you should.
Right. It's like you're so bad that it's so insulting that your team won that we have to terminate you.
Oh, my God. You lost to them? That's it, man. We can't do it. Like, Georgia State fans probably, or Southern fans shouldn't be super happy that they got Scott Frost fired. It's like it was such a disaster to lose to those guys that you got to go, this morning. We can't wait any longer. But I mean, Harsin, everybody knows that this is kind of, they tried to get rid of him in the offseason. It never made any sense. I don't think he's a bad football coach. It just doesn't make a lot of sense at the place he got hired. The fan base has never really embraced him. But yeah, if Missouri goes down there and wins, I think it's possible that by the time I get home on Sunday afternoon, Auburn's looking for a coach again.
Well, what do you think of Luther Burden after watching him play 3 times? Is he as advertised?
Yeah, I think he should have been returning punts from day one.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure why that wasn't happening, to be quite honest with you. But, no, he looks good, no question. Him and, had a couple drops. The K-State game wasn't obvious. I mean, not all in his control, but just from a production effort standpoint, I didn't think that was his best day. But obviously Saturday, he and Dominic Lovett did to an FCS team exactly what you would expect SEC athletes to do to an FCS team. I think that right now Missouri's offense needs to get as many touches to those 2 guys as it possibly can.
Yeah. Well, there's no more talk about possibly replacing Brady Cook, is there? I know they brought in, Abraham in week 2 and didn't see much there that they liked it. It's Cook all the way at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, at least for the next few weeks. And Brady played well on Saturday. My opinion of what he is really has only been kind of validated rather than changing anything in the first 3 weeks. I think he's a quarterback that you can win enough games with to go to a bowl game. You're going to have some pieces around him. He's probably not the kid that's ever going to go out in a big game and throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and be the sole reason you won. But he's good enough to win games. I mean, he's efficient. When he's got time, he generally is pretty accurate, doesn't put the ball in danger a lot. I know he had a couple picks at K-State. One of those was clearly his fault. The other one was honestly just kind of a great play on a screen pass that got picked off by a blitzing linebacker. So I don't think that Missouri's got an all-SEC quarterback on its hands, but I think the evaluation of this team that has gone on through the first 3 weeks it's just typical of what people say about teams that aren't doing very well on offense. Well, it's the quarterback's fault and it's bad play calling. I don't really think that's the case. I mean, yes, both of those things can improve, but they are not, to me, the root cause of why Missouri hasn't been good on offense.
Gabe DeArmond with us here, presented by Power Mizzou. Was there any talk whatsoever of Horn making an appearance?
Not really. I mean, and that's the disappointing part about Saturday's game is that's supposed to be the game that you are up 45-7 late in the third quarter, and you can play literally everybody. I mean, we do the snap counts after every week, and those FCS games in the past, it's taken twice as long as any other game. I mean, you're going through and going, I didn't even know this guy was on the roster, and he played 6 snaps. I mean, you're talking about a game where they're playing 70, 80 players, and that didn't happen on Saturday, and that's the disappointing part. I mean, if you didn't play in that game, the chances that you're going to play really aren't very high.
Maybe we're forgetting Abilene Christian came into that game undefeated. 2-0.
Maybe we are. I don't think we are, but maybe.
Okay.
Plowhawk, I know you're a big Missouri watcher. Anything that you have for the Colonel?
No, I wasn't able to find the game. I don't have ESPN Plus, so I think it would be immature and embarrassing of me to ask a question about a game I did not watch. So I'm going to save Gabe.
I mean, one could make the argument that if you are under 60 and couldn't find the game, that alone is a little bit embarrassing.
That's the next
Very
segment.
true, very true.
So, Gabe, you're going to the game? Is that where you're going?
I am.
You ever been to Auburn? I guess probably no reason to have been to Auburn. They've never played there, right?
Yeah, no, I've never been there. It's there's 3 or 4 places in the SEC I haven't been. This is one of them, so I am looking forward to it. I do not expect it to be the greatest Auburn atmosphere we've ever seen. You know, I mean, 11 a.m., they don't really like their team. It's kind of like I've said, I would kind of like to go to Tennessee this year because the only times I've been to Tennessee, there's 25,000, 30,000 empty seats because they just haven't cared. Oh. And this year they care. I'd like to see that place when it's good. So you'd like to go to a place like Auburn when the atmosphere is what, you know, you kind of expect and hear about, but I imagine that Eli Drinkwitz is perfectly happy to be going in this kind of atmosphere.
What is the best atmosphere you've seen at an SEC school?
Boy, I mean, Alabama's pretty tough to beat, right? I mean, that was I can't remember what time that game was, but I think it was an afternoon game where it was dark by the end, and that was pretty cool. That probably is the best. I mean, Florida, honestly, when we've gone, it's always been a day game, and Florida hasn't been great most of the time. South Carolina's a really underrated game day atmosphere. Tennessee, again, has the potential, I think, to be really good, but I think it's probably got to be Bama at this point.
Hey, Colonel, Missouri State certainly gave Arkansas a scare, and Bobby Petrino is in Springfield and doing some great things for the Bears. Doug, I'm going to do a two-part question like we do with Lisa Ann, except we're going to do.
I have a feeling I'm really going to dislike.
No. I'm not doing it. As a loyal Power Mizzou reader, I already know where your headspace is on a lot of the threads, so I'm not going there. But we were discussing Petrino not to come to Columbia. Well, I guess maybe the Plowhawk, you were maybe talking a little bit. But I'm just curious what Petrino, for example, not to Columbia, not to Lincoln, Nebraska, but is he somebody who you think gets another shot at a big school?
He probably will.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the argument against Bobby Petrino has never been that he's not a good coach, right? He's clearly a good football coach. Mm-hmm. He's won everywhere he's gone. He's also left it in just a burning pile of trash with people hating it everywhere he's left. You know, I mean, so you kind of have to decide are those 2 or 3 years worth what we know we're going to end up with at the end. And for a lot of places, it will be. I'm sure somebody will hire him. I imagine he is back in FBS football next year, to be quite honest. Yeah. I wouldn't want to really cover a team that he's coaching or be a fan of a team that he's coaching, but that's just personal preference.
Where I was going with that was not specific to Petrino, but in general, Frost, who I realized was kind of dead man walking, certainly after they lost to Northwestern, that only added fuel to the fire, and then the Georgia Southern thing.
No, that's a good Northwestern team, though. They put up a nice fight against Southern Illinois.
Yeah, the Southern Illinois squad got them this weekend. And then we saw Herm Edwards, and I know that also had to do with off the field, and then the loss of a number of players and coaches after that. But my question is, this is more of a big picture question. I feel like we're seeing coaches in college football get fired, or the call for coaches in college football to be fired quicker than, say, a decade ago. Now, that's a feeling, and I realize Edwards was there for 5 years, and Frost certainly had a good amount of time in Nebraska and just couldn't get over the hump or even close to the hump. Do you feel like that is the case? So I'm not applying this to Drinkwitz. I'm applying it just as in general to college football.
Absolutely, and it's social media.
That's what I think. That's exactly what I think. That's exactly what I think.
Because it's like, I think what social media has done, people like to say social media has made us dumber. No, it hasn't. What it's done is allow a microphone for, we've always been dumb. Now we just get to tell everybody, right? I mean,
clip that off. That might be our new show slogan.
Yeah, we get to broadcast our stupidity now. I mean, if you just look back in Missouri history, does Gary Pinkel make it past 2004 if the environment is what it is right now?
Absolutely not. Like a 0%.
I don't know if Mike Alden would have had the backbone to stand up to the Twitter mob and our message board and everything that would have been coming his way when Gary went 5-7 in year 4 or 5-6, whatever it was. So it is. You have to really be strong in your convictions to hang on to a coach through some of this stuff. I mean, and it's been this way for a few years. I remember Barry's second year, game 3 was Purdue, and I mean, people wanted him fired. He'd coached 15 games at that point, and it was, no, this is never going to work. Get him out. Kim Anderson was one game, and that was probably a little bit more justified, right? But once the ball gets rolling, it is really tough to stem that public opinion. I mean, and that's why I think this week is pretty big for Eli Drinkwitz. Again, I don't think he's getting fired at the end of this year. I absolutely don't think he should get fired at the end of this year. But the tide has turned on this thing to the point where, I responded to somebody on our message board and said, is this just what we're going to do? We're just going to come up with different coaches for a job that's almost certainly not going to be open. But that's how it goes now. And I think you can understand why these coaches are making as much money as they can as quickly as they can, because they know the shelf life just isn't very long.
And so that's why I was asking about it, because in my mind, and I know you share this because, as I said, I'm a reader, but I know our audience doesn't all get a chance to read it, that I don't see Eli Drinkwitz getting fired this year. But I'm sensing.
I just think it would take disaster.
Right, but I'm sensing because of, and it's been 10 days. I mean, my God, we went from the anticipation for the K-State game to what it is now. I think K-State losing to Tulane has compounded it. That I feel like that in the minds of those who are at least having the conversations about Missouri football, and I don't think there are a whole lot of people having those conversations right now, that him surviving this year is something that they're not sure is going to happen, or that they want to have happen, and I just don't know what is realistic inside the athletic department offices.
Yeah, look, first of all, if they're to make a change after this year, they owe him more than $8 million. They would have to pay a new coach probably $5 million a year. That's the going rate. And again, his recruiting classes largely aren't yet making an impact. I think you have to allow him that chance, and it wouldn't in any way make sense to me. But what I've just been so struck by in the last 10 days, like you said, is in 19 years of doing this, I have never seen the tide turn on a coach so quickly and so unanimously. It was just all at once. It was just Sunday morning after K-State, everybody woke up and suddenly decided, hey, this guy that I loved last week, I hate him. It's never going to work. And the funny thing is, I'm sure it's not funny to him, but it is a little bit funny if you just read all the comments and everything, is what people hate now are the same things they loved 2 weeks ago. It's, well, he just talks in cliches and all these smart-ass remarks and all that. Well, for 2 years, that was, man, I love it that's our coach. Go after Dan Mullen. Do all those things. That's great. He's making people pay attention to Missouri. And now it's just, all he has is catchphrases and there's no substance. I've seen a lot of people. There was some videos on Twitter of him landing in a helicopter in Kansas City to recruit. And, people are like, he's just trying to get on the internet. This is stupid. He's making a show of it. Nobody complained when Gary Pinkel showed up to recruit Terry Beckner in a helicopter or Jeremy Macklin in a helicopter. The point being, a winning coach can do nothing wrong. A losing coach can do nothing right. And if you're in charge of making those decisions, you simply have to ignore all that and do what you think needs to be done.
I was at St. Louis U High once when Gary Pinkel landed in a helicopter, and it was a showstopper. Everybody stopped, watched him come in. It's an effective way to do it. People saw the helicopter over the stadium and go, oh, my God, it's the Mizzou coach. He's coming. And then he walked in like he was king of the world, and everybody loved it. So if you can pull that off, it's a big thing.
Why is landing in a helicopter at a game any dumber than having a barber shop in your locker room to impress recruits, right? Everything that recruiting by definition is pretty stupid when you think about it. Some of the things that these coaches do. There was video of, Nick Saban doing like a line dance in a kid's living room a few years ago, or Brian Kelly, these weirdly uncomfortable videos. The whole thing is kind of creepy, to be honest.
Yes, it is.
I just deserve any more criticism than anybody else.
I'm sure these 60-year-old men love line dancing in someone's living room. They're trying to get a 17-year-old kid to say, okay, I'll go there.
I mean, I've told so many coaches that, look, I understand why you make so much money. I could not have my salary any more dependent on these kids than it already is.
Hey, by the way, this is a Missouri football thing, but just curious, is Dennis Gates making some headway on recruiting? I saw your post about that this weekend and wanted to get your perspective on that.
He had 5 kids in town, had a 2023 4-star 6'10" center or forward out of South Carolina, was in town. He had the number 2 player in the country in the class of 2024 in town. And look, I mean, getting kids on campus is the first step. You're not going to get them without having gotten them on campus. But, you know, people forget, hey, Conzo got some big-time kids on campus. And Kim Anderson had some weekends with some big-time kids on campus. I mean, you know, recruiting, it's the horseshoes and hand grenades thing, right? Getting them on campus is all well and good, but you've got to actually sign them before you get credit for doing it.
There it is, the Colonel. You can read more at powermizzou.com. Gabe DeArmond, brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Colonel, thank you so much, sir.
All right, guys, enjoyed it. Got all the way through without Doug's comments about the helmets. And
I didn't like them. It's not we don't wear yellow. We don't wear yellow helmets.
Colonel's hanging up. Had enough. Somebody is not happy with the Colonel. I don't think Gabe doesn't want to cover a team like Mo State, but makes a career covering that S show in Columbia. Classy. I don't think Gabe thought. I think what the total package is the one who wrote it in. I think what he thought I was going to ask was, what about Bobby Petrino to Columbia, which is not what I was going to ask. I was asking about Petrino going to take your pick of whatever school, and there was an opening. Yeah. And whether or not he would get another chance. So that's why I think he shot it down. It wasn't about I look down on Missouri State. Trust me, Gabe has a really, really good awareness of what the University of Missouri athletics are.
He's one of very few that are in the room like him that have that thought.
Yeah, he's not. So if that's what you're making reference to, the total package, he's not looking down at Missouri State. He's irritated by Missouri fans who want to see Drinkwitz fired and do coaching lists now in the third game of the year, and that's where bringing Petrino in, not because Missouri State and Springfield being a lower tier thing. Just to be clear. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm gonna go touch myself.
Well, if they lose to Auburn, man, I'm gonna feel real bad for Gabe. That's the turning point game to where fans have already turned off the season.
Well, most fans expect them to lose. I'll tell you this. I was really surprised by the lack of. There's just apathy toward it, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And it's gone from now apathy to anger toward Drinkwitz, and that's what Gabe was just talking about. He hasn't seen it go this quickly. But I felt like that's my thing. They're either going to hate him because he wasn't what they built him up to be, or they're going to hate him because he gets 8 wins and he goes and makes a lateral move. That was my Drinkwitz read. And now it's, oh my God, they're terrible. And yeah, they're obviously not good. But they're freaking out because it looks like it could be a 3 or 4 win season. And so the worst fears have been realized. You're 3 weeks into the season, and the season feels like it's over.
And Missouri fans do not care about what Appalachian State is doing. I get it. But to kind of see what that program is doing post-Drinkwitz.
He was there for 1 year.
One year,
yeah. Nothing to do with Eli Drinkwitz. I mean, just nothing to do with Eli Drinkwitz.
I wonder if it's gotten to the point where Mizzou is the kind of program where if they ever do find the next big thing, the next guy that takes them to the top, perennial contender, he'll leave too.
That's the thing about it, and that's why Pinkel was such an outlier. But he would have a couple in a row, and then they would kind of regress. The 2007, 2008 was still good, but it didn't live up to what the expectations were with Daniel and Macklin and William Moore coming back, Weatherspoon coming back. And then 2014 was good, but they did lose to Indiana, and while they were in the SEC championship game, that was more of a byproduct, I think, of the SEC East being down than it was about Missouri being great. If you were to win the SEC East in 2022, that means you had to get past Georgia, Kentucky, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's a different world than it was when they won in 2014, and they won a bit by default. But they were there. In 2007, that was a great, great football team. 2013 was a great team. But
how in the world can Kentucky have a better football program than us?
It's cyclical, though.
I mean, Kentucky was horrible for decades. Northwestern also. Northwestern had a time when they were a ranked team. They were a laughingstock for half a century.
And they'll be awful again, and Kentucky will be awful again, Northwestern. But, yeah, that's how there's like Georgia, Alabama are like the only two SEC schools that are consistently the best. Everyone else
and I have to say, and I understand where I agree with your general point, Jackson, that it is cyclical, and I do get I don't want to say get frustrated, but I'm just like, how do you not? I mean, Georgia, Missouri. You talk about this, Doug, because you were at the game in 2016 where Odom was running plays when they could have been grinding clock. Georgia was beatable, and Missouri did beat them in 2013 in Athens. Alabama had years of Mike Dubose and what Dennis Franchione and Mike Shula. I mean, it was bad for a while, in between Gene Stallings and Nick Saban. So it comes and it goes. Florida was viewed as invincible, really, for about mid-'90s through the Tebow years. It is cyclical for the Blue Bloods. It's cyclical. Missouri, it hasn't necessarily been cyclical, but Kentucky, I would agree, will inevitably fall back. It's not. And I would imagine this might be the low point for Missouri. But the thing for Missouri fans is they go, oh, my God, is this going to be the 80s and the most of the 1990s again? Because that's relative recent history where it's just irrelevant. You're getting blown off the field.
Yeah. I guess we're just not in an area of the country that produces enough players that you can recruit consistently enough to be at the top.
Yeah.
Now, Alabama can recruit nationally, but there's still... You're talking about Georgia. There's a ton of players in Atlanta. Atlanta's a huge state. High school football's huge there. Florida's got thousands of players. Texas has got them too. But to get somewhere else in the country and to be able to recruit every year those 4- and 5-star players, it's hard. Ohio State's found a way to do it, but not many others have.
Guys, I think Drink is a kind of a victim of the lack of success before him, too. We are tired of getting our hopes up and then just get crushed early in the season. This went on before him, too. So fans have trust issues now. That is from Larry Thornton.
No, I think this is a Drink issue. I don't think anybody thinks about or worries about what the Barry Odom era has done to the Drinkwitz era. No players from Odom are really on the Drinkwitz. This is his team. And I don't think Odom weighed 2 bowl games. I know they go to bowls around here, but it wasn't a 3. It wasn't a 3-win potential Mizzou team. That maybe could potentially happen this year. And I think Drink gets a lot of grief because he's supposed to be an offensive genius. He didn't say that. People put a lot of hype around that. But watching them and losing I get it. But you want to lose 55 to 45 or a 35-27 shootout. You don't want to put 6 points and have to call a mercy timeout to get an untimed touchdown when you're down 40-6, or beat an FBS team by 14, 17 points. It's just not what you're looking for.
Hey, a couple things we need to tend to some business here. 314-881-TMA5. That is how you can text in. Engineer Design Facility, sponsor of the text inbox. EDF's fire division is testing and inspecting and maintaining the fire system on all commercial kitchen and restaurant hoods. If you have visibility to your company or place of business, commercial fire alarm panel and system, please email fire@edf-rg.com. They'll have a technician come out and provide a free evaluation of your system and offer the most competitive contract pricing in the market. You can also check them out anytime at edf-rg.com, the official commercial fire alarm services and solutions provider of TMA. That is Engineered Design Facilities. And Tommy Cibulka and VIP Auto Accessories, commercial van and truck upfitting, and that is what they do, and they do it all at their place. They are a full-service operation, a one-stop shop. They take the vehicle from point A to point Z. VIP saves you time and hassle. It's quicker to deal with VIP than 2 to 3 vendors with multiple locations. VIP is all local since 1979. Once employees start working there, they don't stop. They have people employed for 35, 41, and 42 years, and the company's only 43 years old. Munganast works with them. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling works with them. VIP Auto Accessories, your one-stop full-service shop for all your auto accessory needs. They do van and truck upfitting for commercial fleet vehicles, provide graphic solutions for vehicles, retail office space, floors, windows, and more, and have a full array of public safety solutions, including for EMS and police fleets. Call Tommy Cibulka directly, 314-428-3900, or email him at tommy.cibulka@vipautoaccessories.com. That's Tommy Cibulka and VIP Auto Accessories. Coming up in about 5-10 minutes, we'll have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Send yours in and compete against Gunter, who is leading. Doug, I don't know if you were watching I think this was the Rammies yesterday, but maybe I'm off. Maybe it was an earlier game. This is Mark saying, I was watching this when he said this. I just can't remember which game it was because it was Red Zone. Here's Mark Sanchez on the Doug. He's doing analogies now, like Dennis Miller. Take a listen.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Shelton's clearing out defenders faster than a teenager clears his search history on his web browser. Holy smokes!
Nice.
Not bad.
Combine that with RG3 saying there was an orgy in the end zone.
Yeah, things are happening with these former quarterbacks.
What's going on?
Anybody watch the Cowboy Bengals game? I'm pretty sure CBS they are getting sick of Romo. I feel like he is. I said it from the get-go when everybody was like cusping his nutsack about how great he is. I said he is.
Who cusped the nutsack?
He was terrible from the jump. And dude, they have to cut him off now to go to commercial break. There's no clean transition from taking a TV timeout or needing a commercial timeout. They cut him off 3 different times in 3 different commercial breaks. He wouldn't stop talking. That dude, they paid him way too much money. He's oversaturated. He is now calling plays that don't happen, and it's embarrassing. It is really rough to watch. Really? I had to turn it off. Tony Romo is awful at what he does.
Who was cusping his nuts?
Every single article after
CBS was.
Oh man, look at him! He's calling it. He's calling out the play for it. Look at this guy is super savvy. He's gonna be awesome in the booth.
What does it even mean to cusp a nutsack?
It means you're basically coddling a dude before he actually got into his career. Now he's calling out plays that don't happen. He just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking. It is brutal. It is one of the worst performances I've seen.
You didn't enjoy
the Cowboy Bengal game. It was awful.
Posey, how about your Packer bunch whooping up on the Bears?
Yeah, that was a hard game to watch too there. I mean, the Packers looked okay, but man, the Bears are...
The Bears are always horrible.
Justin Fields might be the worst quarterback in the league. It's pretty bad.
When was the last time the Bears were really good?
2006 when they went to the Super Bowl?
I think the Cutler
Sexy
Marshall.
Rexy?
Yeah.
I think Cutler Marshall era had some
they were pretty
times
good.
there. But
I don't know what happened in that game. I mean, Chicago, their first drive, just went down the field, marched down the field, and said, God, did nothing the rest of the game pretty much.
They looked unbelievable the first drive. I'm like, this might be a problem. And then they proceeded to do none of that the entire game. Whatever worked that series, they just said, nah, we're going to get creative.
They're on the 1 yard line, and they're on the shotgun to try to stuff it up the middle. It makes no sense. Get right behind the line and just fall over.
I'm all for defensive-minded NFL head coaches. That is, if you don't have a franchise-hinging rookie second-year quarterback that you need to have a really good career. That's when you hire offensive guys. That's when you hire an offensive coordinator guru like a lot of people have done in the NFL. Defensive coordinators deserve NFL head coaching jobs, but it's not when you're trying to groom a quarterback. Not when you've gone through 30 of them.
It's cupping his nutsack, not cusping. Just ask Doug. He knows all about cusping nutsacks.
I don't know a darn thing about it.
Cupping, Doug. Do you like to cusp or do you like to cup?
Because when you're on the cusp, doesn't that mean you're just almost right there? It's just close. You're right on the cusp.
Yeah, so maybe they were blue balling.
That's
I don't know.
It's called edging.
Yeah.
It is edge season.
He's on the edge.
This is edge season?
Yeah, he's on
September
the edge
is edge season?
As it gets colder, edging gets more and more.
What is
popular.
edging?
Well, when you're staying
California
inside.
FCC.
Yeah.
It'll be on Pepperoncini today.
I just consider it a big tease. That's what I consider.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, when you want a good broadcast crew and then you got Romo, it is a big tease because you don't really, get
I
what
didn't
you
think it
want.
was that bad yesterday.
That was.
I've never really liked him.
That was the worst call game of that game I have ever. That was awful. what.
Doesn't sound like you're high on it.
It was really bad.
Family Golf is not awful, Doug, and that short game area is absolutely incredible. Their new short game area is now open, and it is phenomenal. It's the best you're going to find in the St. Louis area. It features huge 20,000 square foot bent grass green, 3 bunkers, bluegrass, fescue rough, and lush zoysia surrounds. Come work on your short game with Family Golf and Learning Center. It's Family Golf. I was out there last week in the simulator, hanging out, and it was really, really a good time. You can play all kinds of games. You can play courses. You can just get practice in, whether it be indoors, outdoors. It's Family Golf, familygolfonline.com. They have the TrackMan simulator, so you can dial in your numbers. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, and if you want to get lessons, man, they have a great selection of instructors there, the double-decker driving range, the par 3 golf course, and there are memberships as well, plus that short game area. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, and what you should do is think about it. And also, if you're thinking about switching careers, then talk about Centric. Cybersecurity is the most exciting career in technology and one of the most in demand. Centric can train you for a career in cybersecurity, and they can do it in just 4 months. Centric's hands-on program teaches you the actual job skills you need to get started. No history, no biology, just technology. That's how they do it in just 4 months. Even if you have no IT experience, you can do it online, you can do it in person, you can do it in the evenings, you can do it during the day, whichever works best for you. If you're interested in a career in cybersecurity, call Patrick Nealon at Centric Training today, and I'll walk you through Centric's cutting-edge program and show you everything Centric does to help get you started in your new IT career. Call 314-450-4714 or go to centric.com/STL. That's CENTRIQ.com/STL. Cybersecurity is a problem for every business in St. Louis. You can be part of the solution. And also think about it. Yesterday at the Cards game, I saw a guy wearing a Cardinal custom jersey that had the number 1 on it, and the name on the back was not Smith. It was Jesus. Thanks. Strong to quite strong.
Okay.
There you go. Hey, this is Mr. Licks. Is Doug's voice hoarse because of all the Ric Flair wooing he did at the game? That's from Painter Guy, not Mr. Licks.
I did not go, woo.
Was it going on at the ball yard?
Didn't hear it. Nope.
Is it more of a empty night game phenomenon?
I think
See,
so.
it can't go on when the ballpark's packed and they're getting 48,000 in now.
I think it's about over.
I haven't heard it at all this year.
I haven't either. Thank God.
Oh, it's the worst.
Only 3 more home games left.
I know.
Rough road stretch coming up here.
Who else is not going to get 700 at home? Probably.
Probably not. Jackson, you think he's going to get 700 at home?
My percentage remains the same, 41%.
Dude, he gets to 699.
You hear that, Doug? Jackson doesn't think he's going to get to 700.
No.
I don't either.
What do they have? 9?
Wow.
9 on the West Coast and 6 with the Pirates here and there?
6 on the West Coast, 2 in Milwaukee. So there's 8. 3 against the Pirates here, 11. 3 against the Pirates there, 14 games.
Okay.
Well, he's got some butt ass in it that might groove it.
You think it's going to be a groove?
It doesn't have to be a butt ass with him. He's one of the greatest players of all time.
He is, but I just think there'll be, if he gets to 699, it's groove it, let him get it.
Yeah, how would you like to land on 699 and end it? That would be brutal.
Now, the Dodgers do have some lefties, and he usually hits well against the Dodgers, so he could get it in Los Angeles. He could get 1 and then come home and then hit it here. Or in Pittsburgh. That's the last 6 are against Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, in a way, I would much rather it happen. Well, not in a way. I do want it to happen here, but then that means you go in, you're going, oh my God, he's got 6 games to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see him do it at midnight out in San Diego.
Yeah.
When no one's watching.
It'd be kind of cool to do in L.A., you know, where he spent.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Jackson's just so coastal.
I am. I'm Mr. La La Land.
I guess when you go back and you look at numbers, milestone numbers like that, nobody really cares much where the thing happened.
Tony Gwynn,
whether it was home or on the road.
Tony Gwynn, Montreal.
Yeah, prefer to do it in St. Louis.
Time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling Game of the day. First of all, Tim was right about a lot of stuff today. A whole lot of stuff. But this email is about drink. I think he's going to surprise all of us. You know who's going to be surprised the most? Auburn, Florida, and Georgia. That's who. One of the peoples on the show called it practice when Mizzou made their last score. I don't remember who, because it wasn't Tim who said it. But they hit the nail on the head. Drink is saving the good stuff for the big boys. By golly, has there ever been a national championship with 1 loss? You're darn tootin'.
Yeah.
There's been lots of them. And I totally get it. And hopefully Doug gets it too. He DM'd me last night. Hey, man, when are you going to ask me out? Well, Doug, I'm telling you right in front of everybody. When I ask you out, I'm going to do it right. Because that is going to be the last time I ask out another guy. That is going to be the last time I go on a first date. That is going to be the last time I fall in love. That's from... Gosh. The first name is Yuri.
Yuri, a Russian guy?
Yeah. The middle name is Nate.
Nate.
And then the last name is on him?
On him.
Now I get it.
It's definitely a Russian guy. Yuri Nate. On him. He's new.
No, he's not.
Have you ever let one rip in the shower and then you turn around to find the normally white tile walls splattered murky brown?
Oh.
Have you ever forgotten to insert your trusty plug, which normally protects you from embarrassing leakage, so now you're blasting chunks of yesterday's goopy?
Oh. Did you get the goopy?
On your own shower walls because it slipped your mind. Does that sound familiar? Do you ever watch Rocky IV with your stepdad, Ronald, and secretly wish old Ron would do his best Ivan Drago impression and just hammer fist the bejesus out of your backside?
Oh, no.
Huh? Have you never thought about that?
No.
Have you ever stopped for even 1 minute to think about what you've become? You once were a proud man, a married father of 2 who enjoys a good laugh. One day you emailed into a radio show just for giggles, and the next thing you know, almost all of your free time is dedicating to writing homoerotic fan fiction in hopes of making a few HD2 radio men chuckle. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about how sad it is that you can only get hard by thinking of a local khakied sportscaster who will soon be making his glorious return to the Ford Fox on a full-time basis?
I don't know about the full-time stuff.
Does any of that ever cross your mind? That's from the JV golf coach.
JV golf coach.
Guys, Plops here. You may recall in a previous correspondence I sent to the show that I had fulfilled one of my lifelong dreams by opening a gay car wash. I don't recall. It was the place where you needed pull up to the wash bay topless, hang your head out of the window and scream, "Clean me, Daddy," in order to get the suds to turn on. Well, it went out of business last week. Thanks a lot, Doug. You know, when I opened this place, I had a big vision of this being the hottest hangout for the Catholic school dads. It had complimentary spot-free rinse, which, as you know, guys know, does absolutely nothing. It was both St. Francis and SMMA adjacent, and it had a vacuum shaped like a giant wiener that was just fun to poke around and stick into the crevices of your seats.
Oh.
But... alas, here we are, and I'll say it again. Thanks a lot, Doug. For the first 2 years we were open, you'd come pulling up to the wash bay topless, screaming, "Clean me, Daddy," with the power of Zeus in your voice, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. And then my carpet cleaner, Manuel, kisses you on the mouth 1 effing time and you stop coming in. Yeah. Whatever. Hey, glad to be here, though. Go Cardinals. Thanks, Misty Plops.
I don't know.
And that's what we have for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day.
That was a shorty batch.
There was 4 emails sent into the
Yeah. I'm going to go with, I guess, the Russian fella. Yuri Nate Onim.
What was the name of the guy you didn't read?
What?
What was the name of the emailer you didn't read?
Oh, I can't remember. I deleted it.
Yeah, I'm not going to vote for that.
Oh, you're going to vote for the unfiltered file.
Yeah, I'm going to go with urinate on me.
Oh, wow, there it is. Urinate on him.
That's who, he doesn't pronounce it.
That's who has shipped the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Time for us to shut it down. Don't forget, 20% off everything today at TMASTLshop.com. That's 20% off everything, and we have a bunch of new designs from last week that are up in TMASTLshop.com. Pepperoncini coming up next. What's on the itinerary, boys? House of the Dragon?
Yep. Kind of go over some weekend plans. I mean, I did nothing. I just ate so much food.
Then you're on.
I didn't know if you noticed, I had 3 donuts, 2 yogurts, and a strawberry shortcake in like 1 hour.
Did you really?
It was like might have been the most food I've eaten. Yeah.
I
so
saw
we'll talk
the
a little bit about the weekend.
Cinnamon bun looked pretty good.
I ain't off of that yet. Yeah, I'll have one tomorrow too.
Nice.
You ain't off of that?
You like that, Doug?
Yeah,
Does that mean you're still tasting it or something?
Oh yeah, they're still
flip it off.
Okay.
We have a balloon party coming up at 10 o'clock on 101 ESPN. Text in 65780, or you can leave a mic drop on the 101 ESPN app. That's just a way to communicate with the program and talk it over. 65780 is how you can text in, or the 101 ESPN app for the mic drop. Pepperoncini coming up. I have a sound story. You can get a sound story at mysoundstory.com with me, Doug, Learn, or Action Jackson. Mysoundstory.com is where you can book for yourself, for your family, parents, grandparents, have their stories saved forever. MySoundStory.com. Time for us to shut it down. For the Plowhawk, Action Jackson, Kenneth Iggy Strode, my brother Kevin, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 HD2 FM, the Potted Plant, from the Michelob Ultra Studios, closing out the Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour.
Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPNT FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the